truth. Tell me what's bothering you. We know we're future proof. We know we're future proof. Tell me the truth. Tell me what's bothering you. We know we're future proof. We know we're future proof. Tell me the truth. Tell me what's bothering you. We know we're future proof. We know we're future proof. Tell me the truth. Tell me what's bothering you. We know we're future proof. We know we're future proof. Tell me the truth. Tell me what's bothering you. We know we're future proof. We know we're future proof. Friend, I don't know. You'll get there on your own. Face to show. I wanna see something new. A better part of you. You feel it in your soul. A link from head to toe. I'll go just alone. I can't stop scratching my mind. I gotta keep asking why. Stop telling me all the time. Everything will be fine. I can't stop scratching my mind. I don't know.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. We are back. We are finally here and ready to get going with LionsCreed versus The Last Resort, our semi-final of the playoffs. I'm Joe the Man. I'm joined here, as we had for the break, by Fraser and Kenny. Fraser, let's start with you. What are you thinking about this game?
Hi, welcome back. Should be a lot of fun right now. We're already seeing the Jackal being banned out on Coastline. Well, we usually expect it's going to be a frag-heavy map, and with the Jackal off the board, well, I don't think that's going to be any exception. Hard Breach isn't that important for this map, so we're seeing a lot of utility being banned out. LionsCreed going for an interesting one there. The Lion being banned out. Global Operator's been taken off the board. Well, that's going to shake things up a little bit more. I want to see Dockaby potentially brought out to assist in some roam clearance. Kenny, what are your thoughts now?
Yeah, the Lion ban signals to me that LionsCreed want to play freely. They don't want to be stuck where they are and the attack being allowed to just suffocate them in one anchor position. The Valkyrie, although on the flip side, that means that the aggression outside of the building, such as runouts, spawn peaks, will be, the effect of that will be lessened, as there's going to be no availability of those black eye cams outside. And then finishing us off, the Last Resort ban away the Spanish operator on the Spanish map of Coastline. Mirror, she's very strong on this map, but a lot of vertical play means that you can pop those mirror windows from either above or below. Last Resort, seemingly, they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with the power and the coverage of rooms that she brings with those black mirror windows.
It's kind of cute that LionsCreed have banned out the Lion. Like, I like that.
I'm honestly surprised by that. If anything, I would have expected that LionsCreed would want to play that. again, we know how powerful Lion can be, especially when used in conjunction with a roam clearance. So when we're looking at the last resort, I'm hoping that we are going to be seeing some semblance of those attacks there. But first, they are on defense. Let's look towards LionsCreed and see how they choose to attack. Yana being brought out by Heavy, we know that's going to be pivotal in providing a lot of information towards the attackers using that Gemini replicator. Secondly to that, does have the 2 frag grenades and, as well, the Gun 6. I don't know the rule set here, so I don't know whether or not that is allowed to be played.
It is.
So hopefully, Heavy playing on the Yana should be able to clear out a wide variety of utility then.
So just to clarify for you, Fraser, and also for anyone else that's coming here new, is a little bit different. Obviously, with this season, we started kind of slightly later than the turn of the new Rainbow Six season, so we're still playing a couple of rules from the old season, i.e. no Tachanka, no Aruni, and of course we haven't got any Flores in play either. But we're going to start off this game with Kurax taking down Verns and Heavy with a C4 spawn peak, and the down goes suspended as well. Hazard takes them out, and we're at a 2 versus 5. Make it 2 versus 4. We've only gotten 25 seconds into the round, and almost half the lobby's dead. What's going on?
Welcome to Coastline.
You're not, unfortunately, but I mean, I would have.
Yeah, welcome to Coastline. It's just frag heavy, and we're seeing already half the lobby dead and gone, and we haven't even elapsed 60 seconds past in the round. But Steno is making it work for LC. He entries into blue bar and gets a pick. Actually, that's his teammate. It's Steno and the Nomad of Flow, and pinch that player in Sunrise. So a round that started off incredibly well for Last Resort. The spawn kill C4 getting a double, and then the kill onto the Ash of Suspended is all for naught now, as LionsCreed have leveled the man count. Steno still up on that Blackbeard is going to give him the potential to frag out these last 2 remaining members of Last Resort. He has 2 face shields, which now only absorb 25 damage. That's round about 1 bullet from any gun, but 1 bullet is all the difference in a gunfight with 1-shot headshots.
Yeah, I mean, we still have Frozen playing on the Nomads. They've got 1 air jab, could be potentially placed out. Oculus in a good position here. My concern would be, well, he's exposing himself to the big window. Steno on the Blackbeard, as you mentioned, could work out that SR25. Gets rid of some utility. Minute 15 on the clock. They need to start picking up some kills to try and clear these players out. Now, 2v2. This could go either way, but my eye's really going to be on LionsCreed to see what kind of aggression they could potentially bring out into the last minute of this round.
Considering they were a 2v5 briefly, putting it back to a 2v2 is pretty nice, and looks like Flown is going to be setting the diffuser in default. He's got the cover by big window, decides to jump off of it, and he's getting zapped by the Evil Eyes as well. No means of getting rid of these bubbles either, means that it's going to be virtually impossible to stick a diffuser. They're just going to have to bait out the aggression from the Bandit and the Maestro, lurking deep in the other site. Bandit using the cover of this bomb, and Oculus is zapping away. Steno does manage to take out the Bandit, so the Maestro has to come into action. Takes out Flown, and now it's a 1 versus 1. Steno forced to swing in, and the pre-fire lands. Steno grabbing the first round for LionsCreed off the back of a 2 versus 5. And that is a statement, to say the least.
What a round, and what a statement there from LionsCreed. Last Resort started off so well, but LionsCreed did not back down. That resilience. Their new player coming in for today, Flowen, he was announced just a week ago into this LionsCreed roster, and him and Steno, one of the longest standing members of this roster, they've come together. They've shown that they built that chemistry only over a few matter of weeks. And it's the first round for themselves. An attack on Hooker Billiards, successful in the most difficult of circumstances. When you've got the whole weight of the Last Resort trained on you, they came out even better. Great coverage from Steno on the big window. Even though there was an Evil Eye staring at Flowen going for the plant, Steno had 2 angles to cover. He covered it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it's action and reaction. That's basically what we're seeing from both these 2 teams. Well, the C4 at the beginning of the round to open things up from the Last Resort. It was a good start, but then we saw that LionsCreed were able to bring it back, and that comes down to several of their players. Steno with 3 kills, Flown on 2 kills. My concern here towards the last section of that round was, well, we saw a couple of 1v1s going down. And specifically the fact that they were able to provide Oculus with what was essentially two 1v1 engagements. A little bit concerned by that. LionsCreed, they were able to win that out, but I want to see more from them. We know that they are capable of that. LionsCreed are well known within the tier 4 scene for being one of the more dominant teams. They know how to work, they know how to play Siege, they know how to get stuff done. And I want to see more of this.
I think we're going to be given more of it, plenty more of it, and notably, at the moment, a lot of LionsCreed decided not to spawn poolside, because that's where they got met with an RCC for last time, so keeping on to their bodies, and, well, if they perform like they did in the last round, then keeping a man advantage will mean that they are fairly dominant, but my attention is on TLR. What are they going to do to make sure they don't throw another round away? Because really, they had that in the palm of their hand once they took it down to the 2 versus 5, and I think just a little bit overzealous in some places. It is possible to just sit pretty in coastline and hold those deep places. Kaiju's finding the first frag of the round with a C4, I believe, from beneath, and Courage looking to spy on up through that freshly made hole with Verns' corpse above it. Steno Des as well now, and that's the Blackbeard gone, being beaten out by the Roni, and those were body shots. So we didn't get to see it, but Steno, I feel like he's going to be doing better in that situation, just off the limited intel we're going with there.
LC going for a northeasterly side take through VIP balcony and penthouse, but they're met with so much resistance. The two opening kills on the Zafir and the Blackbeard, two very pivotal kills. Obviously Zafir has a whole bunch of utility, both soft breach and the ability to burn ADSs. Blackbeard, well, he just has 2 face shields, but 2 face shields. We all know the story of Blackbeard, and losing 2 members on your entry without even gaining the control or only just giving Hazard 70 HP remaining. There's not much that LionsCreed have for their efforts, and even less as their Flowing gets picked on the push into Aqua. It's all going downhill. Suspended does answer back with a frag himself onto the Jaeger, but at what cost? 30 HP on the Ash now and 50 seconds left. It's a big uphill battle now for LionsCreed, but they did it last round. They can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum has been wanted, at least momentarily. They're going to try and burn out some of the utility, specifically that Malusi Banshee. That's the main factor that's denying them from executing onto that A bomb side. Because, well, it's going to slow them down. It's going to put them into the kill box, the kill zone of some of these players. It's Heavy looking for the shots onto the Maestro, can't quite connect it. Will get taken down by Kurax. 1v4, technically a 1vx, but Suspended will be able to get a double kill. It's not going to be enough as Oculus will shut him down. The Alder goes brr, and, well, he loses his life.
It certainly does go burr. That's the name of the game with the Alder, and yeah, a much more solid round there from TLR. It did go down pretty quickly, to be honest. So we are going to be having a rehost fairly soon to try and deal with a slight lobby issue, but for the time being, let's have a look at these lineups. We've got the Vigil being brought out by Kurax, so doubling up on that kind of drone denial utility with the Mozzie. It's a nice one, that, I think. You've got to try and avoid detection on this map. Maestro as well, often forgetting that, I mean, it's usually forgotten that Maestro is pretty good at sort of continue at denying drones. I feel like he sort of leans into that as well.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs. Bomb located by attackers.
It kills, that's great, but even then, they don't necessarily need that. Now, I think it's interesting to note we are going to the Kitchen Subs entrance, usually the secondary bomb site for a lot of teams, so a lot of stand-up play being brought out by the last resort, and it's something that we should come to expect. That Kurax will be playing upstairs, likely with... Oh, hello there.
Oh, hello.
Likely with a couple of other people. Not quite
You're
sure
put in
why
the
we're on our
spotlight.
face.
Yeah.
But okay, hi, hello.
You've
Okay,
also
I've enjoyed
changed
this as well.
names. Hi there, Tudor.
Attackers are
Hi, Tudor's great. I love him.
You love him so much that you've taken his name. You've stolen his identity, apparently. That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, we're back on our faces briefly, but thankfully,
I love this.
thankfully it's not too long.
ECS is the equivalent of being like that. I feel like I'm on a trip to like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory right now.
What has happened?
Like, no idea what to expect. It's great.
There's no knowing where we're going. Wow.
Well, the drones start to come out inside of Sunrise. The Legion spotted. Sunrise is a really good position for Legion to play because he has access to those goo mines which regenerate over time. There's limited entries into that Sunrise bar and blue bar, which Legion, he only needs to set down 2 or 3 of those goo mines, and all the entrances, possibilities for the attack to actually push on into him there are audio cues that Priz can play off of. The audio cue of the Nomad shooting a hole into Blue Bar will be heard by Prisma. The Breaching Charge also given an audio cue, even a visual and explosive cue, and Flowen does capitalize on him opening up that wall, and he nets the frag onto Legion. A very quick and speedy Sunrise push coming in from LionsCreed. They don't want to deal with this vertical play. They don't want to take top down. They're going for a horizontal push and aiming for a kitchen window plant potentially. As you see, there's a lot of utility situated on the service entrance from the Last Resort. So by doing this, LionsCreed are evading so much utility, and even evading the guns. There's no sight in the bomb site. Suspended just runs in, gets a frag, but Oculus is stood there with the order. That gun is so destructive, and he nets 2 heads for it. He is holding the bomb site all on his own, and all on Last Resort.
Wow. The Elder has already sort of gathered itself a highlight reel for today. Heavy falls to Courage, and now we see ourselves with a defender advantage. The Blackbeard caught walking in, but that face shield saves Steno, nets him a kill. Does fall, however, again to the Jaeger, to the Vigil of Courage, and now it's all on Flown, who gets a massive wallbang. What was that nutty shot from the Nomad? Got Diffuser in hand and 43 seconds to play with, as well as the air jabs. They should be able to protect him in this situation. He's going to stick the Diffuser. Courage is just running on up. He hears it. Comes off the plant. Throws a couple of flashbangs. Just the one, in fact. Rounding the corner. Expects to be able to win this fight, perhaps. But Courage is really hot. He's on the ball right now. 5 kills so far in the match. And he makes it 6. There goes Flown. And there goes the round for LionsCreed. The Last Resort collect another one. And they push on ahead. Coming from behind. It's now 2-1 to them.
So many of these rounds are going down to these 1v1s, and well, you know, we spoke about it in the pre-show. We were talking about how both of these teams have, well, the potential to absolutely frag out if necessary. A couple of players have been popping up on the scoreboard here. In particular, we want to highlight Steno and Flown for really kind of stepping up and leading in a latter half, you know, of most of these rounds. But also on the side of TLR, we're seeing, you know, players like Oculus. We're looking at players like Kurax, not only with the C4s at the start of the games, but also towards the later half, bringing out some nice little gunplay coming down. Blue Bar Sunrise, next bomb site to be brought out. Again, this is to be expected. Kerry, when we're looking at this, this is going to be a close match, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. LionsCreed, obviously, they want to regain their title. 2 seasons ago, they were the champions. They won that best of 5 final against Arctic. Last season, they fell at this exact stage. They fell at the semi-finals. They want to regain their title. They want to regain their dominance inside of T4. Over the last season, they have shown their dominance, finishing top of the league and only losing their final matchup, which didn't even matter. Playday 7 didn't change anything for them. They had finished top of the table. They didn't need any points. Unfortunately, did lose that matchup, but I don't think we can count that as a real LionsCreed loss, because do you really need to try if there's nothing on the line for your game? LionsCreed, obviously, we know them inside of heavy trolling at sometimes, but there's no trolling here, because LionsCreed have come out the gate running, but Last Resort have just been that edge and that cut above LionsCreed so far, as we see educated on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no. We could Jumping over towards us right now. So far, nobody has died. Is this even an ECS game without a kill in the first minute? So we've got, well, Keju playing on the Oryx. Hazard will get the opening onto Steno. We're not going to be too chuffed about that. With the line, protection with the Blackbeard dead. No more rifle shields to protect his lovely face there. We're going to be looking over towards Hazard, the player that been a little bit quiet so far. 3-1-3 as his kills, assists, and deaths. Let's say a little bit more from Hazard. Very good player. We generally come to expect a lot.
We have another person we've come to expect a lot from is Steno, and so far he's had kind of mixed results. Occasionally in these rounds he's had really good impact, but there's been a couple now where he's died early on and has seen virtually no real sway on the round at all. Courage just taking a run out of VIP and then opting to fall back to kitchen. This is interesting. You've got this open kitchen setup with the Oryx smashed wall in delivery, and that's allowing these players to play a bit fast and loose around that position. It's a very useful one. It allows you to kind of protect Pink Bar from a distance, but at the moment Suspended is going to be providing a bit of pressure towards that position. Heavy as well looks like he's wanting to send down a Gemini and spook them out and maybe find out where they are so that Suspended and Co can root out the kills in that position. Doesn't look as though they're going to strike just yet. Courage is still fending off some pressure outside as well, and the timer is just slowly ticking with very few meaningful engagements happening over the past minute. But there is the first. Ferns finally taking out Courage, and a key anchor lost.
Yeah, and if LionsCreed do go for that Sunrise plant, they're going to have to deal with the player inside of Pengu corner, and exactly that. Heavy's frag grenade finds the kill onto the smoke. No more Toxic Babes to be able to stall out the timer. The timer ticking down. Smoke would have been very, very efficient in stalling out, being able to push into the bomb site and get that bomb down, especially on Blue Bar. Suspended is playing these vertical angles, and he forces Hazard into a tricky spot, and he gets caught by the gun of Heavy. But Prisma's playing really aggressive, looking to hold the bomb site all by himself, and he does so. A 2k on the round, and he drops a diffuser as the clock ticks red. Kaiju tacks on the 2 T5 SMGs. Make it work for the last resort. A 2 versus 4 in the dire straits of the round, and last resort hit 3 rounds to LionsCreed's 1.
I was looking at that round, I was about to say, Heavy, holy heck, what the hell are you drinking right now to make that happen? But unfortunately he gets demolished by Prisma, who then comes in to clean on up. It's like Viscera cleanup detail, but well, it's not, it's Rainbow Six Siege. When we're looking at this right now, the players that are going back and forth, I'd love to see more of this. I mean, at least from my understanding, this is what we come to expect here in ECS, that along with all of the technical issues. So we're looking at it right now. Bandit being brought out as a 6th pick away from the clash. Interesting. Much better. I will be blunt. It does make a lot of sense to bring the Bandit out when you consider the lack of hard breach being utilized from the side of LionsCreed. And that's just something that we come to expect with the Coastline. Which is that, well, the only form of hard breach that you're ever going to bring will be Habana or Ace, and even then, it's just not really that important. There's not that many walls that you want to try and open up as an attacker. It's a lot better to bring some more utility to the board. So, nice lineup being brought out by both teams.
Yeah, one of those pieces of utility that I've become a massive fan of in recent months, personally, is that Iana on the side of LionsCreed, and she's so great at just gathering all the intel that you could possibly want for a push, and the rest of her kit isn't too bad either. This G36C with the angled grip is a really nice weapon, especially since the recoil buff, and thankfully those recoil changes in the most recent patch seem to be going away fairly soon, so that will be a nice bit of information, especially for you smoke mains out there. Kenny, I'm looking at you. Yeah. So, yeah, it's absolutely standard to see operators like the Yana and like the Nomad being brought here on Coastline. Absolutely normal as well to see Jackal and Lion, for instance, being banned because they see so much value. Kaiju finding the first frag of the round. He's been fairly consistent so far, getting a key kill every now and then and getting the opening frag onto the Ash of Suspended. You couldn't ask for a better pick, I don't think.
Yeah, I think we've really kind of seen Kaju stepping up. He's been a bit of a quiet player, but, you know, when he is there, he is being very reliable.
Defender
Kurak's
exposed.
off the board, that's Malusi dead. And, well, one of the, better performing players of the last resort off the board. 4v4 situation. Kenny, we're looking into this right now. This could go either way, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, LionsCreed have established the control beneath the bomb site, so in Sunrise and Blue Bar, and that allows them to be able to exert vertical pressure from the bottom up onto the anchors inside of either Hooker or Billiards. That default position behind the Billiards bar that we see so often a smoke play, where he can just deny the default plant behind the bomb inside of Billiards with his smoke canisters clipping through the wall. But that's absent from Last Resort. So LionsCreed don't really need to be able to get that pick on the smoke from the vertical play, and they've realised this. They've rotated off after getting that initial kill downstairs onto the Malusi. They've rotated onto the Aqua Balcony, and Heavy, he wants his control on the double window. But with the Nomad falling, I don't know if there's any air jumps placed on the run out from Hooker, but Hazard on Luggage, he's just fighting this attack full force. And the rest of Last Resort just clean up the round, and pretty swiftly, that's all said and done. Last Resort with their 5th round on the defense. As we swap sides, LionsCreed have it all to do. Wait, not switch sides, just say 4-1. My tally was all wrong. God damn it.
Well, I mean, I don't blame you, because TLR have just been racking up rounds constantly. It does seem as though this last round could quite easily go their way, to be honest. Like, they have the momentum, and it's not just this game that they've gathered the momentum. This entire playoffs that they've, you know, trawled their way through, managing to come through the winner's side of that second group stage, and all the way here to the semi-final now against LionsCreed. They've been really impressive, and LionsCreed, on the other hand, they've had a few weeks off. I mean, sure, they've been able to study the other teams and try and find out what they're doing. I don't know to what extent they really do that. I've heard occasionally from them that they just sort of turn up and go for it. And to be fair, they've got the talent to try and do that. But that hubris might cost them in situations like this, as we see they're already on the back foot and then some here against TLR.
Alright, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Go on.
I like the mentality that LionsCreed have. And the mentality is, and I would argue at least, you know, from my limited perspective and limited knowledge of it, I just don't think they give a X-word about a lot of other teams, because they focus internally, and I like that. The fact that they constantly look towards what they're doing right and wrong in comparison to counter-analyzing and looking too deep into what other teams are doing. I think it's a very healthy mentality that LionsCreed have, which is they just focus on themselves and they're focusing on the other team later.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, like, you know, every hour you spend counter-stratting your opponent is an hour that you could have spent, you know, practicing and refining your own strategy. Yeah. So it does come with its sort of
we're gonna see a
trade-off. Oh, we definitely are.
Nice, I like this.
Wow. Yeah, it's just kills flying in on the board on the side of LionsCreed. Flowin does get that bomb down, but at what cost? The C4 gets another double kill. It's up to Last Resort to retake their own bomb site, but a really difficult post-plant situation as the attackers can situate themselves outside of the service entrance, and they get 2, but Corex is sticking the diffuser. He pulls off just in the nick of time as he hears the audio cue of Steno's footsteps. He is going to go for that re-6. Steno on low HP is going to go for the peak with the SMG-11, but pulling off the diffuser, Corex makes it work. Suspended's there for the cover. 1v1, another 1v1, but this time it's LionsCreed that come out on top in the 1 versus 1. Suspended doesn't lose his wands to Corex this time out.
That is why you don't knife peek. Alright, 2 players from TLR just tried that. 2 players. And what happened? They get willied. Well done. Really good execute coming down from the side of LionsCreed. I like that. They shot from the Nomad over to the Monty, which is a fundamental shift. You're saying, okay, we're not going to worry about flanks. We're just going to focus entirely on the bomb side. And they make it work. Sometimes you might see the smokes being used from the Montaigne to try and cover, potentially in conjunction with a glass, but they didn't do that. Instead, they just went full force, open up that door, get the plant down, they cover it in a post plant. Superb. Apologies, I've just won.
Don't worry. Barnow does it at least 3 or 4 times a broadcast, and we can't rein him in at this point. It's just impossible. But yeah, we've all broken our F cherry on ECS at some point, and it just happens that it's your first time here that you do it. So do not worry a tiny bit. LionsCreed needed that. They absolutely needed that. That was absolutely pivotal. Not just for the 4-2 split, but for the mental, because now they've woken up. They said, okay, we can take this game by the scruff of the neck if we really want to. It just takes a little bit of outside the box thinking, and there was some interesting stuff going on with that shield at the very end, the Monty dropping it in the middle of the door, providing a bit more of a sort of problem-solving situation, shall we say, for the final sort of post-plant situation. And I like that. I honestly think that was just hilarious to see the players trying to work around it and be like, oh, how do I get this to work in my advantage? How do I peek with it? How do I, pro peek with it? And in the end, it was just a bit of a slaughter fest. Every single kill pretty much coming out in that one delivery door. And it's a good thing that the maps reset each round, because otherwise there'd be a massive pile of bodies on that door and it wouldn't be usable anymore.
Steno, now we've moved on to defense. Steno is on his established operator and, dare I say it, favorite operator of the Vigil. LionsCreed have banned the Lion. Even though Vigil does counter the Lion with his ERC scanner, Steno will still be able to play around freely, and that's what you need with Steno. You need to just give him the freedom to play how he wants, and he's a talented mechanical fragger, and he will get those frags. Obviously, on attack, he's been playing slightly a more passive role with the Blackbeard. He's taken early engagements and has been losing them. But on defense, I'm expecting to see that coastline aggression come to fruition. The aggression, however, from the last resort side on the hooker window nets the opening kill on Suspended, who is the Jaeger inside of sight, not expecting an early peek from that sight window.
Bit of pressure there from the hookah windows. Flown manages to just about escape with his life. He's going to cross over to Sofa now and join his SAS comrade in Heavy. They're aware of a potential presence on Big Window, but it's not actually there right now. Flown's opening up a couple of lines of sight so we can toss in these gas canisters, and that's going to stall out Courage's approach for the time being. But with 1 minute 20 left on the board, that's certainly an early point to be expending it. Flown, though, does find the head of Prisma and evens out the man count to 4 versus 4. We're seeing some pressure as well now from Aqua, but Courage is going to take down one element of that, and a second, and he's just pulled off a massive flank. Heavy takes out Courage, though, in response, and denying him the ace on the round, and now we're left in a 2 versus 3 with these SAS operators. Flown finds one, but Hazard with the refrag, and now Heavy in the 1 versus 2 has to deal with 2 attackers, and Hazard has these holograms, so they can take their time.
Playing very aggressively. Heavy. What you gotta get taken down there by Kaiju. Questionable. They had the smoke, 2 Toxababe canisters left in the pocket, 50 seconds, and he's swinging into Aqua.
Good call.
Okay.
For the wall bang at the end. I mean, like that was a very nice final kill.
I thought you were about to say it was a good call for the...
Oh, no, absolutely
awful
like,
call.
What the hell are you on about? Awful call for the smoke to push out. Great call from the attacking side of TLR to execute the smoke at the very end and punish him for it. Yeah. You don't want to be doing that as a smoke. Bad idea.
Now we are looking over towards Hooker Billiards yet again. Same lineup being brought out. Hazard's got to be swapping out from the IQ to the Iana. Alright, Dutch lady. Nice. I like this. I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm going to hark back onto something you mentioned earlier on in this broadcast, Jerry, which was the power of the Iana to provide information. And that's something you've really liked. And I think that we're going to continue to see her becoming a very important asset within either attacking team.
I could completely agree. I think that we could even see a rise in Iana bans in the future as teams get more comfortable in bringing her. We see that teams depend so much on, say, Jaeger on defense that when a Jaeger is banned, a lot of teams' setups and strategies are just thrown by the wayside. They now cannot cover their shields with ADSs. They can't cover anchor positions from being naded out for free. There are operators which are essential to how you want to play, and Zafira is another one of those. We've seen her inside of T1 Siege just surpassed the 90% pick rate mark. And yes, she can be a really effective operator to play, but if you ban that away, what a team's attacks look like when they rely on their Zafira to burn an ADS for a shield, which Ashe can no longer do. Zafira is the only soft breacher who can actually burn her own ADS and then destroy a shield. So you take that away. What do the attack have to become way more coordinated? So Iana bans could rise in the future, but we're not seeing it here. We're seeing the effectiveness of the Iana. Obviously, with those Gemini replicators getting so much worth on a small map like Coastline, she can clear so much. There you go. Hazard, he's cleared his entry into service, bathroom, and main lobby. Coast clear.
I think it makes the most sense, especially seeing Yana being banned out for the amount of utility that she can burn. That she got 2 frag grenades on, well, and combined also with the Gone 6. So that's a lot of versatility in one package, not even counting her gadget. Now, the issue with that being is that, well, if you're banning the Yana, it means that you're not going to be able to ban out other operators, specifically hard-breaching operators, such as the Ace Habana, Thatcher, or Maverick, which, well, unfortunately is very prevalent in a lot of maps right now. A single attacking ban is massive. But anyway, we are seeing Kaiju stacked up outside a hookah balcony for now. 1 minute 25, give or take, left on the clock. And we're waiting to see how this execute will form up. I'd be expecting we might see a late round take into Aqua, as a lot of teams have been favouring that, at least in this match. The fact that so far none of the defenders have been pushed out, I'm a little bit concerned by. That's a good kill, though.
Castle's Curse.
Demolished, Deno.
Big case of Castle's Curse there, and Flown at least is finding a response. Taking down Courage, and now we're in a 4 versus 4. The utility being cleared by sight. This is quite good ground being made by the attackers, and Suspended will take down Kaiju to put a stop in their tracks. Prisma now forced to try and engage through the smoke, but he would be really foolish to do that as he's only sitting on about 20 HP. Oculus just hunting for some kills, using these elevated positions to try and get some sneaky angles, maybe catch a defender off guard, but a nice spray there coming through the wall, and this is a high-risk strategy here from Oculus, as Suspended does manage to secure the down. Now Hazard takes a big chunk of damage from Flown as well, and both attackers split up. They need to get some fights won here on their own with the final 13 seconds coming through. Frag comes out, Suspended is downed, and now the only attacker left is Hazard, as Heavy delivers a shotgun blast to the chest of the final attacker besides Hazard, and Hazard just has to walk on in. He's got no chance. It's just meets a crossfire, a hail of bullets. Heavy will claim the final kill. And look at the mess inside of Hookah here. I can't believe it, but LionsCreed, they've come out on top in that one.
What did LionsCreed change that round? We didn't see an opening death for over half the round. LionsCreed did not give TLR the opening picks, which obviously decreased their ability to hold the bomb site. LionsCreed just stayed passive on the bomb site, and TLR didn't really know what to do when all 5 members, or after Steno fell, all 4 members on the bomb site were up on their feet. They had 4 guns to be able to hold 2 entrances into the bomb site. The attack was very funneled in just through Aqua and then the hookah balcony. There wasn't much map control that we saw them take previously. They tried to take across from VIP side and then establish the control in luggage and then finally onto Aqua. But that round it was a very minimalistic push, and LionsCreed just punished them for it.
I mean, it's one of them where LionsCreed, from what we saw, they're basically just able to sit down and say, yeah, alright, we're just going to stay here for 2 minutes. And we didn't see TLR do anything about that. They drove around, they had a look around, and that's about it. It's like they were browsing on Reddit for new strats from like R6 Pro League. It just, like, we're looking at TLR and it's like, what are you actually doing with 2 minutes of your life here? You're droning. You're trying to figure out where people are, and then they're acting upon it? No. We didn't really see them try and establish vertical control. Fair enough. So what are they doing? What are they actually gaining information on? The positioning of players? Yeah, but then you need to act upon that. We saw them get the opening kill onto Steno that allowed them to push into Aqua. But then once they got control of Aqua, we need to see them start to establish themselves going for an eventual execute. And we saw them slow that down and stagnate. the issue that TLR had there was it felt like they didn't have a clue what they wanted to do, or they were too slow in acting upon that by the time they got into a position to do that, everyone else was dead.
What is promising, though, is the way that they've switched up their lineup. And you can see right now, Hazard on the Ying. Much more active approach than to bring the Yana, for instance, who's going to be droning out, sure, but unless you're sort of following it up with and trying to refrag that Gemini, then it's just intel. That Hazard in the Ying is bringing execute utility, and that is where they fell short last round. So hopefully, if they manage to nail this early round, that is, then they should have a good chance at taking this kitchen site. Steno, though, is on the prowl inside a courtyard, and he can exert a fair amount of influence over most approaches besides the delivery push. Does look like he takes a bit of a beating there. Prisma in response as well, losing some HP, and now Suspended is supporting the roam play here, firing at range. Does actually manage to tag Kaiju up through the wall of blue bar, or pink bar rather. Now the flashes are starting to come in as the Yings is beginning to clear the site with those Candelas. They want to make an entry here. They want to force it through. The C4 comes out, but that's not going to connect with anyone. They're just baiting out a bit of utility to begin with. Third Candela of 3 comes out, and Kaiju will collect the first frag of the round. Oculus with a second. The diffuser is being stuck now. Oculus holding from outside on delivery while the plant goes down in kitchen. Hazard finding one on the Ying, and now it's all TLR all the way. Hazard with a second on the round, and just Suspended now left in the 1 versus 4. He does manage to nail a lovely headshot onto Oculus holding from delivery, but he's still got 3 to contend with and 30 seconds to do so. They're all stationed around kitchen, and it's Courage with a hole from the courtyard hallway to clean up the kill, and that is a swift take from TLR.
Something that I noticed, I thought that Last Resort were heading into a LionsCreed trap. They were setting themselves up for a kitchen window / kitchen door push, and Verns had the head height holes in the quad wall that has an angle all the way from luggage to kitchen window to stop and deny the plant. But what did TLR change? They didn't go for a plant on the kitchen window, which is so common. They emptied the kitchen site itself with the Candelas and the smoke canisters from Hazard. Then Kaiju was able to just tuck himself just inside the kitchen door and plant. So Verns had no sightline on the plant from those head height holes. That is a fantastic counter from TLR to A, establish what LionsCreed are actually doing and what they're holding, and B, just have the IGL call that and be able to react and plant in a different spot under cover from the Candelas raining out and the smoke grenades. Really well played from TLR.
I'm interested to see Heavy now on that smoke. Hopefully he can use all 3 tops of canisters. Well, you know, you're looking at them, they've got 10 seconds apiece, so you're looking towards about 30 seconds of plant denial, or area denial. I'm hoping that this is going to work out in favour of LionsCreed. We don't. Well, unfortunately right now there's a couple of issues with that recoil from the ECS operator. So, unfortunately for Heavy, he has been demoted. He is going to be stuck on that for now. Do you want to have a poll? Do you want to have a prediction? Do we think Heavy's going to be able to get some shots and some kills, despite the bugs? I think he probably could.
Maybe. I mean, to be fair with the SMG, sometimes recoil is your friend, right? Like you aim roughly for the head, and you hope, roughly for the chest, and you hope that it kicks up to the head. At least that's how a lowly gold 3 like me will play. And I hope for the best. Maybe Kenny, with a bit more expertise, can tell me that I'm doing something completely wrong. But
let me ask you a question here, okay? If you had to have a 1v1, okay, and you had a champion, right? Trial by combat, who's the one player in ECS that you want to play for you?
Oh, wow. Steno is honestly high up the list, and he's justifying it right there with an opening frag. VIP of Arctic is pretty stacked. Like a lot of Arctic's success depends on him, so he's also a pretty good shot. And Kaiju is gonna make me eat my words and destroy Steno.
What about you, Kenny?
I think it'd have to be my ex-teammate Joker.
Really?
He has the crosshair placement and just the game sense of an absolute demon.
Okay, I like that. That's fair. I'm personally gonna go Heavy because he actually knows what he's doing. He's a decent player. and somehow doesn't die half the time, which is great. So, you know, I'm going to be going for him. Anyway, we are looking over towards Heavy, and he is inside of kitchen for now, by the kitchen window. Is stacked up with Flown inside of bomb site for now. He's got that nice deployable shield stacked up behind it with an ADS. Vuns will get the kill onto Kurax. That's going to drop, well, yet another player there. It's TLR. Well, it's going to be up to Kaiju and Hazard, the main player being Hazard there, as he's the only one on full HP. 4 players left standing as well for LionsCreed. I'm looking over towards this round as being, well, probably not going to be seeing that second map just yet.
No, I don't think so either. Looks like the round is almost done and dusted. And LionsCreed are playing this, well, exactly how they should be. They're being nice and passive, with the exception of Verns, who at the moment is having a relatively quiet game. I mean, historically, we've known Verns to be a sort of, you know, solid player. This season, he's really stepped up to the plate and actually broke the kills record this season, Kenny. I think you have a more precise version of that stat maybe we can share afterwards, but Hazard is going to be starting his execute and will be swiftly executed as Suspended swings on the Ying, and now Verns steps down the stairs, takes out Kaiju. LionsCreed finally get that over and done with, and we see ourselves through to round 11, 6-4 the scoreline.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Verns is the flex player for LionsCreed. He can play almost any role, and he excels at it. Throughout the season, when for circumstances Steno could not play and Suspended wasn't in the roster, Verns had to step up into the kill department. He couldn't just let Steno and Suspended, as we see them doing here, just run amok on every opponent they come across. Yeah, Suspended and Steno have incredible mechanical skill, and inside of T4 they can take and probably win a gunfight against anyone. But when neither of those two players were in the roster, Verns had to step up, and he stepped up huge, breaking that kill record by just sub 20 kills in one less best of 2. That is impressive. He was hitting 15 plus kills every single map so far this season. And against some of the major teams, that is not an easy feat. As you mentioned, VIP on Arctic. There is quality through and through the major division, as well as contenders. And Verns, if LionsCreed want to bring this map back, we need to see something slightly more from him. Yes, Steno and Suspended can step up in the kills department, but Siege is a team game. There are 5 players on the roster, and all 5 of them need to execute their jobs to win the map. And so far, Last Resort are executing that slightly better. But LionsCreed now, they're getting the momentum back from these last couple of rounds, and we could potentially see overtime here.
On a slightly different note, I would be interested to know about the map bans. As a reminder, this is a best of 3 format. We do have 3 maps, meaning we do have Coastline, Dostoevsky, and then as our decider, Clubhouse. I would like to know whether or not TLR banned out Villa against LionsCreed. As we all know,
They did.
Well, in the second, so the first 2 map bans were Consulate from LionsCreed and Theme Park from Last Resort, and then we had the 2 map picks of Coastline Cafe, and then Oregon was banned by LionsCreed, Villa was banned by Last Resort, leaving. Clubhouse's decided.
Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. The buck being played down below will tag up a little bit of damage onto Suspended, looking for the kill with the 416C weapon, but you need to be looking the right direction. She's going to be looking down, prowling about. That is the buck. Can't quite land the shots, however. So he's going to bail out from that situation. Steno also takes a little bit of damage. Will get the kill onto Oculus, however, to kick things off. And that is the sledge dead. Frag grenade's gone. That caber no longer going to be lifted up by the poor wee Scotsman. Looking over towards Steno, playing over by Theta. Having a nice time, just kind of vibing. As Hazard inside of Aqua. He's currently the only player over there. The buck will rotate around. Looking over towards an Aqua take as per standard. Aqua Bomb, A-Bomb Plant, Jerry. It's a good place.
It is a good place. It's as good a place as any. In fact, it's a better place than many. So, it's understandable that they're going for it. And Kaiju is holding a key position here on Big Window, trying to make sure that they don't just get swung on. But Flown is going to take down Prisma before the push can get started. That's pretty important, as now that pressure on Hookah is alleviated, and the defenders there can turn their attention towards the plant, and Heavy does just that with a C4 from beneath, and that's really going to dent the chances of the Last Resort closing this out in regulation, as they're now in a 2 versus 5. Courage does take it down to a 4-on-2 now. Still has Diffuser in hand, 14 kills. He has to make it a lot more this round to give himself hope. Suspended removes him though, and now it's all on the repelling player of Kaiju, who does take out the run out, but he's got 36 seconds left. Not much time really to get that Diffuser, get on in and take out all the defenders. Verns as well, still lurking beneath with only 29 seconds left, and he has a C4 in hand as well. The Diffuser's being pinged out. He does expect the presence inside a pink bar, and Kaiju doesn't know Verns is there, so that's an easy sweep up on the round for the MP5 of the Malusi. And we see ourselves through to the final round of regulation. LionsCreed have continued to claw their way back to this one.
Oh, Jerry. The C4 from Hebi did not come from below.
I did think
it. So Hebi had pre-made holes behind the billiards bar. He chucked the C4 down through the floor onto the blue bar wall, and with the shrapnel changes that came 6 months or so ago, it kills the planter on default position.
That's
inside of
beautiful.
billiards. That is Hebi. You know I love you. What a brain you have on that man. Fraser wanted you in his 1v1 earlier, and you proved him why the brain can be better than the brawn in some cases. Hebi doesn't need to use his gun to deny the plant, to just get a heads-up kill. The intelligence and the game sense on that man to use that C4 to deny the initial plant is exceptional, and that puts LionsCreed within 1 round of Last Resort.
Fraser, you were talking earlier about the strength of a gun that doesn't require you to look at someone.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was a gun that you could use without needing to look at someone. Oh wait, it's a C4. That's what it is. We see the strength of it.
This is my opinion, personal opinion. So naturally, as a caster, it's completely wrong and completely invalidated. But anyway, don't be my opinion about a player. Okay, you don't always have to be the best mechanically. Be smarter. Don't be better. Be smarter. Because if you're, like it's the whole idea of like crosshair placement versus, flicking, right? You know how you see some of these players and they're flicking around and it's amazing shots, right? But the fact that they're having to flick in the first place implies that they're looking the wrong way. Crosshair placement is what wins you a lot of gunfights. Looking the right way, having the information, and being able to act upon that. And when we look at players like Hebi in the nicest way possible, I don't think he is one of the best players mechanically, at least from what we've seen in Tier 4. But he knows how to play smart, and that's what really kind of goes well for him. Suspended getting, kind of flashed out there. Steno will get the kill onto Kurak, so that's the Ying dead. Suspender able to get away from that. Bit of a sticky situation there.
Incredible map awareness for Suspended to navigate out of that blind.
Yeah. And not only that, Suspended managing, the refrag coming against the Ying. Excellent support from the team there. Steno does manage to take down Kaiju on this dual entry. Oh, that was nice. I don't even think he knows he downed him. It was that good. He's got to drone him out to secure it now. There we go.
Oh, come on.
There's your reward. Very nicely done, Oculus. And yeah, I mean, you missed the opportunity to get a tasty sledgehammer kill on Steno. That would have been timeline worthy, but oh well.
Well, sometimes it's just not to be. Anyway, we are looking over towards Oculus, using that verticality to their advantage, trying to clear out pink. They know the surface is clear now. Looking over towards the rotate and, well, the blue bar. There is a player down below. Inside the sunrise from now, so Oculus needs to watch where he steps, and Prism will take down Hebi. It's going to be closing up that mine count in both favors. Mons will return that favor onto Hazard, leaving it all up to Oculus and Prisma. Prisma being the substitute player. Buns takes Oculus for a ride, and Flown will take down Prisma, the substitute player that popped in for this game in this best of 3. LionsCreed, yet again proving, well, yeah, they've still got a lot of fighting vigor left in this game.
3 rounds down were LionsCreed. Last Resort sitting on match point. But we brought it back to overtime. Testament to LionsCreed's brute resilience, 3 defensive rounds on coastline. We've actually seen inside of ECS a very defender-sided coastline. Just yesterday, we had the last quarterfinal between Skittle.jpg and Paragon. And in 12 rounds of regulation, Fraser, 1 attack was won on coastline. Can you believe that? And here today, we've only seen 1, 2, 3. We've only seen 4 attack wins out of 12. And that just... I don't quite know what to make of that.
You know what I'm surprised about? The fact that we haven't seen Steno really getting that many opening kills. Usually you'd expect he's going to be spawn peeking everything. Because that's just Steno's, you know, modus operandi. That's his go-to thing. As he spawn peeks, he gets kills. He makes it happen. And he puts his team into an advantage.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
I've got a sort of a personal theory about coastline, which is that it's not necessarily attacker or defender favored. It's basically aggressor favored. So if you're playing on the defense aggressively enough, then that is good enough. And if you're taking the initiative, if you're the ones going into those gunfights, taking the peaks, then you're usually going to be the team that comes out on top. That being said, this has been a rather kind of conservatively defended coastline. So I'm beginning to be a bit puzzled about that theory, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is just a defender favoured overall, and I don't know. That's what we're here to find out, I guess, is whether these teams can prove us wrong, whether they can set a new standard, because they are let's face it, 2 of the most talented teams in Tier 4, and possibly in this league, and it's surprising that this is... Well, it's almost unfortunate that this couldn't be a grand final best of 5, because... I mean, let's face it, the TLR, they've really proven themselves over the course of this playoffs, and like we said earlier, Contenders division is stacked. They didn't even come in the top 2 of Contenders, so I can't wait to see what the others can bring to the table if they get that promotion spot next season.
Yes, Steno, he's not going to be the opening kill here. Instead, the opening death, as inside of Luggage, he is exposed to that courtyard roof, and he suffers to it. There's the kill from Hazard. The Ying is able to get that entry, and a very well-placed drone from the Ash of Kurax. Ash, the operator, all aim, no brain, but Kurax has situated his drone in a really smart spot here. Yeah, you could open the hatch from below, but the Melusi isn't aware that she has been droned out, but Verns wins the gunfight nevertheless. The yellow pings and the exact position was known to the Zafir, but she can't even capitalize. Inside of theater, Suspended has been choked out, and Verns, he cannot find another. It's all down to that site player, that rock of heavy on the smoke. 3 toxic canisters left. Flown does not have a C4 to be able to use to get a kill, while the last resort attackers are going for this vertical control. Mainly the sledge. He is very susceptible to a C4 when he's throwing down that sledgehammer. It's a very long and arduous animation. But LionsCreed can't capitalize on that. Kurax is low HP, so there's some saving grace for LionsCreed, but not really anymore as Heavy. His toes are shot. Jackal is banned, but there's still people searching for toes on Last Resort. And Flown has it all to do in the 1 versus 4. The P10 Roni, not really a gun equipped to take multiple gunfights at once. High fire rate with a low ammo count in a magazine. He's going to have to hit the really important headshots. As the bomb goes down and the candelas rain out, it's going to mask the sound and the audio cue of that diffuser going down. The cover under smoke means that the bomb goes down on service door, and what a frag grenade from Oculus covers the rotate to perfection. Even uncooked. Oh, that's unfortunate. An unfortunate ending to the round.
See, this is one of the things with the grenades, is you just hope to God it rolls the other way. You just don't move. It's fine. Just don't look down. Don't worry about it. Unfortunately, you probably should have worried about it. Now, we are looking at that right there. That is an F. We get an F in chat for that one. Overtime match point, currently for TLR. Now, we spoke about something during that match, and during that round in particular, which was, well, there can only really be one winner in this best of 3. And that winner will move on straight ahead to the grand final on Sunday, I believe, if you guys can correct me on this.
Yep.
And the loser goes down to the losers final, or the losers bracket, on Saturday. Now, I'm sure one of you two fine gentlemen know all the information about that, so I can possibly go over to Jed.
Yeah, so it's essentially, this is last gasp resort for everyone here, and that was not intended as a pun. It was an awful way of saying it. But essentially, it's single elimination here. So if either of these teams lose this semi-final, then that match they'll be playing on Saturday is for third place. And you've got a prize pool there. It's not like you're playing for nothing, but they want to win. They want to get to that best of 5 grand final on Sunday, and it's really going to be a doozy. It could be either Skittle or Jaeger's Academy that join them, and both of those are pretty good opponents. But quite honestly, this feels like it could be an early grand final by my books. Honestly, LionsCreed and The Last Resort have been some of the most incredible teams to witness this season. And right now, we're seeing exactly why The Last Resort are trying to stake their claim on that, as they are round ahead, but now they're 2 men down, as early entry frags coming from the side of LC. Means that we may well already be on our way to see Max OT here.
I remember in LionsCreed's best of 5 grand final victory 2 seasons ago, Coastline was the map they secured that victory on. It was map 3, and they only needed the 3 maps to win the best of 5 series. Coastline was the map that they were victorious in, ending it all and being crowned champions on. But their match point down here, they need to find it within themselves to take us to Max OT. Last Resort are no strangers to Max OT. They had 2 8-7, a loss and a victory against Paragon in their best of 3 matchup in the stage 2 of the playoffs so far. So then they know they can go the distance. Last Resort, they have that stamina to be able to do so, but they're gonna have to really bring up all the stops here, because a 3 versus 5 on a kitchen defense, Oculus is being sent to hell inside of sight as all the vertical angles opened up above him means that he meets his demise. And now LionsCreed in a 5 versus 2 looking pretty damn good, Fraser.
Yeah, Steno pushing down the blue staircase. Prince is not going to be aware of that, but he might have been just there. We saw the little angle being brought up. So Prisma all looking over towards not only the bomb site, but also the blue stairs. Flown will attempt to go for the plant as well. Vons will cover, taking down Kaiju. Steno get the opening as well, leaving, well, Prisma there. Flawless round going down for LionsCreed. Again, we're going all the way the last, I guess the last possible round in this match. We're going round 15.
I'm puzzled by a couple of things that I've seen so far. The first being that both sides here opting to go to kitchen for their first overtime defense and failing miserably. It's got to be said, like, those were pretty convincing rounds from either side. It's not been the sort of explosive, exciting overtime that we maybe were hoping for, and maybe this final round on Hookah will deliver us the finale that we're really craving here as casters, as being completely biased towards entertainment value above all else, of course.
Yeah, I think, as you said, the side choice has been peculiar. Kitchen so far, 4 attempts and a 50% win rate for the defenders. Blue bar, or the double bars, has been defended once by both teams, and from my opinion, pretty successfully defended by both teams. There are at least 3 defenders up when the round was won by both teams, and I question why they haven't gone to that bomb site in overtime. Maybe it's just unfamiliarity with the bomb site. Yes, it has been both teams' tertiary choice, but both teams defended it really well, and it didn't really look like either team knew how to efficiently attack it either. So LionsCreed in the 15th round going to Hooker, they've won this site once on defense and lost it once. So we couldn't really ask for any more variables in the most level playing field to decide which team will take Coastline.
Hey Jerry.
Yes.
How do you feel about doing rock, paper, scissors right now?
Oh, I love this.
Come on, let's have a guess. Alright, who are you going? LionsCreed, Last Resort. We need to hurry this up.
I will go with LionsCreed.
Okay, I'll go TLR. Okay, ready?
Right.
Rock,
How do we do this?
We just do rock, paper, scissors, and you tell me what you did.
Cool,
okay?
alright.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Scissors.
I did rock.
Of course you did.
Alright, so by justification of the rules of rock, paper, scissors, we have, well, officially declared that the Last Resort are going to be winning this game out. Let's see that play out. Kerry, carry us through this.
Prisma droning below inside a blue bar. He wants to get the intel and potentially drone in Kaiju down below. He's going to set up those air jabs to hold off the Sunrise flank and make sure that LionsCreed can't utilize their vertical play with the C4s to deny the plan. Oculus, he's the only real player that can make any kind of work from below. It doesn't matter though, because Kaiju, he has a gun, and up through the hooker hatch finds a massive pick onto the smoke. Smoke has been so influential on defending this site as of yet for LionsCreed, and him not being a factor in this round really flies in TLR's favour.
Steno stunned out behind the bomb, but he's been doing quite well with that gun today. In fact, I say that, this may be the first time I've seen him on one line. Yeah, he's going to try and make it work with those discs tossed out towards the door. Prisma, though, taking out Suspended as the Sophia. Now Hazard is beginning these Ying plants that have grown to fruition over the course of this game. And in fact, he's going to stick successfully.
Oh,
Heavy
no!
C4s himself. No, he tries the same trick, but it doesn't work twice. And now Steno pushing up through Pool under cover of smoke as it dissipates. They're trying to fish for anything, but Aqua is just too dangerous. The sharks are turning, and it's the lions that are falling. The last resort taking out Kaiju now. Verns is in a 1 versus 3. 25 seconds left. He could just try and go for the long arm. To be honest, it might even be the best option at this point. So many difficult fights to take the prone inside of luggage. The upside down rappel on Aqua. He's just going to try and stick this with 13 seconds left. He has to pray that no one pushes him, but Courage will. And that is it. The last resort to take down the major division leaders. And LionsCreed are a map down in this best of 3.
Oh, well, we might need to go for a rehost, as unfortunately Kurax is having a bit of an issue. Apparently CT is sticking. As well, we're looking at that right there. It went all the time to overtime. Okay. Kurax to pull it back in the end. Solid post-plan situation unfolding there. 8-7, first map in the best of 3. Kerry, what a hell of a match.
Yeah, we saw in regulation, we saw an extremely defender-sided coastline. But how many times do we see it where in regulation the map is one-sided and then it just completely flips on its head in overtime? We saw 3 attacking victories in overtime, 3 pretty convincing, if I say so. We saw a flawless round from LionsCreed. There were 3 members still up from last resort. The map started off with really close 1 versus 1 engagements at the end of the round, but the tail end, both teams figured out how to attack, and it was Last Resort who came out on top.
That was quite a game. I think that honestly, that was a bit of an advert for Ying, wasn't it? The way that the game continuously got a bit more sort of attack favoured, and those Ying plants really came to define it, especially in the final round. It was basically how they managed to win. But we'll see if that trend continues, as we've got ourselves map 2 coming up very shortly. Cafe. We'll throw to a short break, but don't go too far.
Always rearranging. That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. That is constantly changing. Always rearranging. Always rearranging. Always rearranging.
Come on, don't think about the consequences if you want it. Come on, don't worry about the aftermath, we know it's coming. But come on, maybe it says it's all we need just for a minute. Just for a minute, yeah. I need it like a vice, got me hooked, I cannot lie. I tell you every time that we'll make it out alive. Come on, don't think about the consequences if you want it, yeah.
Why is my head in the floor? How delayed?
delayed is this?
How delayed is my
Oh.
camera?
I love this.
Did,
Well,
did anyone
welcome.
at ECS want to know what Jerry gets up to in his breaks?
Apparently, I
Pondering.
stare at the desk. So I'm gonna try something really interesting here. For the first, okay, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm just gonna mime, and then as soon as I actually start miming on screen, I'm gonna start talking and try and fill it in. So
So
one
I
of you
love
has to
how-
talk now.
I love how we've got this this saying that that apparently ECS is the most professional and the best organized and best run tier 4 league right now. I think we're definitely living up to that hype and expectation. But regardless of that one, Kenny, welcome back. Jerry will catch up with us in a few minutes.
Oh
He's
God, I'm
off.
picking my nose. Ah,
I love this. This is great. It's classic.
how? I'm gonna reconnect.
So,
Well-
like, I came in here, I was expecting, this is gonna be, up there. In terms of, there he is! Look at him! Oh, Jerry, you look ravishing today. Welcome back. Are you actually live now? Are you
am.
good?
I am that.
Okay.
Wait, no, hold on. I'm still lagging. I'm still like a few seconds behind. Something's going weird with my camera. Anyway, maybe we should brush past
I have a question.
this.
How come you both have he/him next to your name? Is that just me that sees that?
Yeah, no, we have that. I just think because you're new
Pronouns.
here, we didn't collect your
Right,
data,
okay.
so we don't have pronouns for you at the moment.
I like that. I like that. This is the only league that I've ever seen that on. I like that.
Yeah, where's mine gone? Noah, give me mine back. There we go.
No,
Thank
I really like that. That is good. Anyway, we should probably actually crack on with what's important, other than ourselves here. Let's talk about the matches and the teams right now.
Yes, well, that first map, if you have just joined us, it was Coastline, and it was an absolute storm. We started off with 1v1s being won by TLR and then LionsCreed, and it was back and forth, and it went all the way to round 15 and overtime, and it was TLR who came out on top 8-7. They put one map on the board in this best of 3. Now the pressure's all on LionsCreed. LionsCreed, they were in this position last season. In the semi-finals, they lost the first map in overtime. It was against Skittle on Oregon. I remember that because I was playing in it. So they know what it's like to be up against the wall. They need to win Cafe, and Cafe has been a good map for them last season. But I don't want to keep bringing up history. Cafe was the map that knocked them out last season in the semi-finals. Could history repeat itself?
Well, I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I came into this with little expectations because, to be blunt, there's no point. We look at these teams, the potential that they have, and it's entirely dependent on their own actions. When we look at these teams and try and decide, okay, are they going to be winning their gunfights? We'll find out, I guess. It's one of them, where it's like, it's so hard to accurately provide analysis towards these teams because in the nicest way possible, you could be looking at the same team for 7 weeks in a row and they're still going to bring out something that is so unbelievably bloody ridiculous. Not a clue.
That's just tier 4, right? Like,
Yeah.
we know that LionsCreed can definitely, pull a Navi and just turn up on the day. Like, they won't give a rat's ass during the season and still manage to top the league, and then actually turn up for the finals and win the whole damn thing. Obviously, Kenny, you know better than most that they can be punished for that sort of approach, as they were by Free Up Tom last year, or last season by yourself.
2 months of prep for that. 2 months of prep.
2 months of prep to take down LionsCreed. That's what it takes. So have TLR done their homework is the real question. So far, evidence points to yes. They've
I'm just looking on the
managed to
stream
best
right
them
now
on
and it's caught
Coastline.
up to the bit where he was
And
picking his
both
nose.
of my monitors have just gone black. I'm having a great time here. I don't know about you guys.
I'm happy. I'm vibing right now. The stream. I'm looking at the stream right now. Obviously it's got a 3-minute delay on, so it's just
Okay,
caught
I'm
up
back.
to the bit where you're picking your nose right on broadcast.
Jerry caught in 4K.
oh, I love this. Honestly, like this is great. We're vibing. We're having a good time. Both these two teams, well, I'm not going to say they're having a good time because I think they just want to get the game started as soon as possible. So believe me, we are going to try and get that done ASAP. Kenny, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello.
Hello. Going on to Cafe, it's a map that TLR have previously played in the playoffs. Most notably, I casted their game against Rocket Gaming, which is their first matchup in the playoffs. They won Cafe 8-7 with a 1 versus 2 to the wire clutch from Kurax. I keep calling him Kurax. Courage. From Courage. He was Valkyrie defending bar. He was down below as Valkyrie with a C4, and he had the bomb down outside on the new balcony. All he needed to do was survive, and he did it. He got 1 kill, then waited out the timer. It was an 8-7 victory, and something that I noticed, all 6 defenses, TLR ran Goyo. 5 defenses, they ran Valkyrie, and I cannot fathom how much use and value TLR got out of the Valkyrie. It was so well utilized, the Z pings, just the information they gained from the Valkyrie, that Paragon banned it against them every single map in the following best of 3. That's how well that the Valkyrie is utilized by TLR, and on Coastline, LionsCreed banned it against TLR.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the power of the Valkyrie, we know it's something that both teams can play very successfully. When we look over towards the side of LionsCreed, we know that they can play it, but just as easily they can ban it out. And I like that, the versatility that we're seeing of these teams not being, defined by, okay, what is a standard operator ban to go down? Albeit, Valkyrie is a very standard ban for Coastline. Forget that. Let's just talk about the context of it. I'd like to see that being banned out again, potentially. We're going over, as we mentioned, over to Cafe Dostoevsky, so we're going to expect to see that some form of hard reach will be banned out. I'd expect it could be, Thatcher and Ace, and then defense-wise, I'd like to see Mira either banned out or played.
Yeah.
I think she can be very powerful, especially on that top floor, especially when we're looking first one, placed in, facing into Cocktail, and the second one faced from the White Hallway into storage or stock, and then finally into into piano. So I'd like to see that being played out if possible, but I think we're just gonna have to find that out now.
That we are, and I'd like to also place a bet on Kaid maybe showing up in the ban phase. He's a very powerful operator, particularly on this map. He can really lock out any sort of piano push that needs to come through from the attack, and just add another really annoying checkbox to the to-do list for the attackers. Yeah. Thatcher being off the board, of course, makes that a lot harder. That's fairly standard. People are going to be used to playing against the Kaid with the Thatcher ban. But Jackal coming through from the last resort, after they banned Jackal as well on Coastline, really, that is interesting. Maybe that's something that they particularly don't like about LionsCreed.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Kenny.
Was there any player in particular that played Jackal?
Verns sits on Jackal on Cafe, notably on Cafe. He sits on Jackal 24/7, and you can basically clear for a basement attack. You can clear the top 2 floors by you go to the red hatch, you shotgun it open. You're not susceptible to that C4 that we see so often when Sledge goes and hammers the hatch, because you can shoot the hatch from range. You look down red stairs, turn your Inox scanner on, no footsteps. Go across, you get droned across top floor, look down white stairs, no footsteps there, no footsteps half stairs or brown stairs, top 2 floors cleared by Jackal. And I think that with that ban coming out, when Last Resort do go onto the defense, we could see a lot of heavy vertical presence from them on a basement defense, with the likes of a Mute and a Mozzie roam, very popular around the T4 scene that I've seen. A Mute Mozzie Vigil, just playing those top 2 floors, gaining drones and just punishing the attack for wanting to go for that full map clear.
I have a different theory, a la the Jackal and Mirror ban. I think TLR just don't like Spanish people.
Bro.
I think that's I don't know. I feel like they've banned them twice in a row now.
Yeah.
I don't think that's stretching it. I think I can make that assumption, right? That's not like damaging to any person's.
I've got to assume that
Right.
TLR aren't disgusting, horrible human beings.
Yeah, I think
and
we're
I'm
gonna have
assume that they've got some reason for doing it.
we're gonna have the Spanish embassy on the phone to Jerry soon.
Is that what
again.
happens?
Yeah,
It's my first time outing a team for being like racist
Countryist.
towards operators. So I don't know. I look forward to facing whatever authority comes my way and fighting my case. Maybe I shouldn't, but
Like, because anti-Spanish sentiment, that is Hispanophobia.
I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course it will, because like Anglophobia would be.
That's
you know,
true.
Uh,
I suppose
hate
it's.
of
I suppose
English.
it's just not a very common one.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's a good thing that
yes.
that's not common.
Indeed. Looking towards the setup for LionsCreed, Grissom, if you'd just like to go to the top floor very kindly. This is a setup that LionsCreed very commonly play on Cafe inside of Cigar Shop. It is a Cigar Shop hold. Vern sits in Cigar Shop, covered by the castle barricade on the double door from Piano. He sits in there with ADSs, a shield, mute jammers to protect him. This is a setup that I myself had to play against LionsCreed last season, and it is a nightmare to get Verns out of this spot, especially when he can chuck a C4 through the red door onto the red stairs whenever a player drops. He has that shield for cover, and he has the ECS loadout of the M590 and the SMG11, which excel at close range combat. And
There
Verns,
is an issue.
go for it.
There's an issue with that, and that is the fact that he is exposed by that castle barricade just being destroyed right away. That means that his back is constantly going to be covered by piano windows. Now, in theory, if they had actually left that castle barricade open, then, well, it would have allowed, Vons to play that a lot longer. The fact they were able to take that down, and then he was followed up with a kill from coming from Piano. Then took him down very quickly, very effectively. Good usage of utility in order to flush him out from that position.
I think what's interesting about that setup is that it's not the newest thing. It's actually quite old at this point, and surprising that the LC ban out the Wamai, because that really helps with that particular setup of protecting the castle barricade. But getting ahead of ourselves, we might come back to that, because it is a really interesting setup, and we're all big brain analysts here. Well, I mean, I'd like to think so. Courage is finding a kill onto Pebby, and Suspended gets a refrag. Hazard trades back, and we'll get a second. No, he won't. In fact, Hazard just cleans up the whole lot. That was a very swift take from TLR. Once they managed to crack that nut of Cigar Shop, it was pretty much done and dusted with that successful white push.
I have to agree with questioning the Wamai ban when you're going for that sort of hold. The castle barricade on the double door is so exposed to being shot from that south piano window that we saw the Ash of Courage situate himself on. But if you have those Wamai discs around in Piano, you can cover all of Piano, all the windows potentially, from an Ash charge flying through them and going for that castle barricade. So Verns could persist for even longer. But I think the Cigar Shop hold historically has just been a time waste tactic. And yes, Verns wasted half the round, but the rest of LC fell way too quickly and didn't even force the last resort into being pressured for time. They had the Echo on board that is such a powerful operator in the dying seconds of a round. So they're going to reattempt this, but with something slightly different. Steno onto the Pulse from the Echo. He's obviously going to play downstairs as a Pulse always does. If last resort, their drones are pre-placed around the map, they might see that Steno has tick pick to the Pulse, but I doubt it.
I mean, the main thing right now is Steno has a couple of options for how he can play here. Option one would be he plays inside of mining and trains. Can use his cardiac scanner to jump out of the red windows, and then also secondly to that can also use the C4 onto the red walls when they enter through there. Secondly to that, late round he could rotate over towards Reading that he can play down there. I think my assumption here, they're going to do the C4 with Vons. Steno is using his scanner to basically give Vons a rough estimation of where to aim. So we're likely to expect at least one C4 kill here. It will be onto Oculus, I would assume. But no, not yet.
Doesn't quite connect, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I mean that's the fairly common tactic that you see, just tossing out the hatch, and I think most teams attacking now, especially TLR having come through the playoffs, almost certainly having played a fair bit of Cafe. I'm not entirely certain of the numbers there, but they would have seen that through and through and be prepared for it by now. Hazard is getting off to a flying start in this matchup, already 3-0 after getting a couple of key frags at the end of the previous round, and he's unseated the Pixel player. With no shield on that spot, it is certainly a little more unsafe than usual, and that's very swift control of Piano for the attacking side of TLR. It's forcing Steno to be a little bit more ambitious with his plays. He's got to try and open up this this attacking set piece, but he's come all the way up white, and now he's dead. So that's not great from him. Verns does get the refrag onto Courage, a bit of a delayed one, albeit, and now 3 versus 4. Hopefully, for LionsCreed's sake, things start to quiet down. But in fact, they're just going to take the kills as they come to them. Hazard gets felled, and with this lockout of Bathroom, they kind of just need to worry about the 2 channels of attack. It's almost MOBA-esque. You've got left lane, you've got right lane, and you've got middle lane, which is Freezer, should the attackers choose to go through it. Oh, Suspended creeping up towards Trash, but he's actually downed, and that was that by his own team's toxic gas canister? Well, if it wasn't, then the confirm comes through from Heavy anyway. That's really unfortunate for the smoke. So now 2 versus 3 in the final minute of the round. Heavy does take down Oculus, but the SMG-11s need to be patient and wait for the attack from Kaiju and Prisma here.
Yeah, long-range engagements inside a bar, and the yellow ping's coming out on the position of the smoke. Great drone placement, but whoa! Heavy wins the gunfight, and a 3rd on the round! Heavy! He doesn't have the mechanics of a god, as we said previously, but boy, he has the game sense. Look at that flick! Who said he can't shoot? Fraser? Heavy's showing you up.
Look, technically on a triple kill there, 2 enemies, and, well, 1 not quite an enemy, but sort of an enemy because they're your teammate, but, you know, yeah. So 3 kills going down for Heavy, technically speaking. Von's bringing out the Warden. It's probably going to be 6 picked away from now as well. Kitchen Service, I would expect maybe a castle to be brought out. That could be quite fun. Kaiju not very happy about the kill being stolen. Heavy.
At least we know now it wasn't that Heavy got downed by the gas.
Had to get a 4K. Technically, that was a 3K. It was a 3K.
He did kill his teammate.
It was a 3K because he got 2 kills.
No, he got three kills, and then plus his teammate.
Yeah.
He got 1 inside a piano through the freezer head high holes, then the last 2.
Indeed. This is what happens when you're taking down notes. You miss half.
Exactly. Something that just shocked me. That's now twice we have seen Last Resort have a Z ping, a precise Z ping on a LionsCreed defender, and yet not win the gunfight when they know exactly where that player is sat, and they're sat still as well. All the Nomad needed to do was just pre-fire there. Heavy can't move anywhere because he's just sat. They can see on the drone, his dead teammates can see on the drone that Heavy is just sat still at the end of the long bar. No pre-fire came out, and it was a really nice shot with a high fire rate gun at close range. Heavy won it out, and LionsCreed, in a 3 versus 5, bring it back for their first round victory.
We're seeing...
I'm interested.
Ooh, no, you go, Fraser. Go on.
No. You
No,
go
no,
first.
you. No, you.
No, you go first.
No, you.
No, you. Go on.
Oh, you
This
two
is
get
this
a
is
room.
how you burn time in the start of a cafe round, right? We know that they're going to come to the roof. We know that there's going to be like a minute of nothingness because it's like piano take. So no you.
No, you.
No you.
No, you. Come on, seriously, you.
All right. Courage has managed to take his way into piano quite swiftly. Clears that rather pointless ADS. Maybe looking to snag a freebie at the very start of the round, but besides that, it's not going to get much value. The rest of this take is just going to be fairly standard, as right now LC are turtled up on site, so much so that Verns is rocking the Warden.
I'm interested to see where Vons will be playing. Over by Prep for now. Well, his entire job will be to try and waste as much utility as possible from the smoke grenades and also the flashbangs. I'll be able to hold up on those verticals. Technically the wrong way around. It's usually you want to be upstairs, but for now they won't be. They do have a player behind Bakery counter. That will be Steno on the Jaeger. Sledge carefully utilising that K-bar to open up the floor. The C4 doesn't connect. His frag grenade will be kicked out. Nope. Just kidding. So Oculus looking over. Taking the play here. Opening up the vertical I spoke about earlier on. It's been held by Vuns from underneath. Still there on the left-hand side. Oculus holding on for the angle. Stero will get demolished. Vuns will get the refrag. Could actually the first kill. Vuns with the refrag. Looking over towards right now. 1 minute on the clock. Now seeing the execute slowly starting to form on up.
Especially with that sledge going down, all that vertical pressure has been alleviated, bar one member of the last resort. The other three have made their way into Bakery and into Red Hall, and Prisma from above nets the kill onto Verns. That is that Warden down, and the smoke canisters on Ace will become ever more important. The Warden not being able to see through the smoke, it means that they're able to play around the bomb site. And Prisma, he gets another kill from above. He's getting so much worth from this top pressure that the sledge, although he's dead, he's made all these vertical angles. The Z pings coming out on the player inside of Prep, playing aggressive, but Heavy's not able to land a kill. What a shot from Suspended, vaulting out the window. 10 seconds after the clock hits red. Hazard is going to have to plant, but it's Prisma's job to cover. Suspended runs past the covering player, and all he needs to do is hide. As sprinting down the red says Prisma, he's strapped for time, not able to find the kill. Suspended, brilliantly played in the 1 versus 3 to clutch up for LionsCreed.
Nutty stuff from Suspended there, but can I just say that I've never seen a round so defined by vertical play as that. Prisma getting 3 kills from above, and I can't remember if it was the sledge himself getting the first one or not, but every single kill that the attacking side of TLR managed to collect that round was from above. I mean, the sledgehammer did a good job. Peter Gabriel eat a heart out. Like, what more can I say?
Who?
Peter Gabriel.
I don't know who that is.
He's a 80s singer. He made a
You
song
are
called...
so old!
He made a famous song called Sledgehammer. It's a fucking banger.
Oh, of course the music, man! It's one about 80s music! Bro!
Check it out. It's got a really good video as well.
No, I don't think I will.
I remember one of my first casts with you, Fraser, we were chatting nonsense about Coldplay.
And it was on Cafe Dust.
Yes, it was on Cafe. I'm getting flashbacks of that. And we couldn't quite understand what was going on in each other's brains, but it was just glorious.
I still don't know what's going on in my brain, but you know what? Let's just move on from that. Alright, let's just move on from that chaotic mess and talk about this chaotic mess. LionsCreed. Couple of interesting operators. First off, Burns.
5 seconds to insertion.
The Goyle. Goyle Vulcan is very powerful, can be used to waste about 12 seconds of time with those Vulcan shields and explosions. On top of that, they are also kind of annoying to deal with. Castle for the castle barricades can be used to disrupt the lines of sight, as well as also about 11 seconds worth of time because, well, 11 hits, or you can just use this off your lifeline, just pop it up, maybe you want. A lot of utility wasting equipment on the side of LionsCreed. Malusi Banshees, go to Vulcan shields, castle barricades. It's a lot of stuff. Alright. Now TLR are gonna have to deal with this in a time efficient manner, and I don't think that they will.
I'm intrigued to see where Suspended has pre-placed his C4 this early in the round. You can see in the top left here on the screen, the one next to the C4 count on the other side of the 2 means that the C4, it has been thrown but not yet detonated. So potentially on the roof hatch, when Oculus goes for that sledgehammer, he's going to be met with a very loud surprise from the other end of that cell phone. But so far, nothing yet occurred. As you said, the start of cafe rounds very slow, the pilgrimage to the roof as it were, and just the initial drone out of bar and piano. A standard cocktail hold. Last Resort are looking to clear this cocktail hold to be able to establish vertical pressure onto the bomb site of Breeding Room itself, then go for an eventual plant. Steno, at the corner of his eye, actually spots a member cross across New Hatch, but he doesn't. He has the trigger discipline to stop himself from getting that kill, but it is Suspended who dies because of it. They flood into bar and net the kill on one of the players holding inside of cocktail. The utility clear comes out to be able to clear those Banshees and those Goyle shields. And the rest of LionsCreed just dip down. Heavy does have a C4 from below, but it's Verns with the gun that actually makes one of those kills up through the vertical angles. Not even that. Look, Last Resort, what are you doing? A waterfall of kills on the top floor and through the vertical angles. Steno all on his own now. No kills yet. We need to expect big things from this staple mark of T4. He has the 416 in hand. He has the first kill to his name. He needs another 3. He spots the tracers go, and he downs the diffuser as well. A headshot onto Hazard. That's the ace down, bomb down inside of pillars. I assume there is still the default cam in 90 to help out Steno in this clutch. Yes, the Z pings from his dead teammates able to hold the red hall so he can play around pillars for free. The diffuser has been recovered, but Steno gets a kill. And the 4th! The 1 versus 4! He's finally woken up! The staple mark of LionsCreed for the past few seasons has made his name in this matchup here and now.
How do you fuck that up? How?
So true. That was TLR's round. They completely opened it up, and Steno just kind of like dunked on them.
Steno did Steno things. He
Yeah.
just walked around the map. He danced around. He got the kills. Fair play. Good shots. But the fact of the matter is, we saw, what was that? 4 players, 4 1v1s. That's what it was. Half of those players had their back to him. It helps if you're fucking shooting the enemy. Like, hello?
I don't understand why they...
Is anyone home?
There was a
TLR?
lot of things that were wrong. There was a lot of things that were wrong with that.
Let's just start a half-hour analyst segment where you F up.
Steno didn't have a
Go
kill
on
before
Ramsey
that round.
to start on that.
Steno didn't have a kill before that round.
He didn't have to.
That was like the easiest 4K of his life.
10 seconds.
Honestly, I'm just sitting here. I'm trying to think of something that I can honestly say.
Attacker's objective is to locate the bomb and
KLR just... They screwed up. They lost energy. They lost momentum. And because of that, you saw that Steno was able to recover that in the nicest way possible. It's not because of Steno doing anything incredibly well. I would argue that it's more down to TLR screwing up. Fair play to Steno. Good shots. But the fact that he was able to get away with that, to me, screams more of a mistake on the attacking side rather than the defensive half. The fact that Steno was in that position to begin with, in a 1vx, fair play to him for pulling that back. But it shouldn't have gotten to that stage in the first place.
So, Kenny, I have a question for you, if you don't mind me asking. We've got ourselves the third attempt at a bar defense, and Suspended has moved back on to this Echo that he dropped at the first time of asking. Given the fact that we've just seen 2 opening kills from LC, how do you think, if this were still a 5v5, how do you think this would actually play into the round, the switch back to the Echo?
I really think that we've seen the kitchen attack especially that was won on time. Last Resort's attacks, after that first successful attack on bar, have really been slow and not that efficient. They've come down to those final seconds to try and make something work. They finally get the kill onto Verd's cigar shop, but they've already lost their Ash and their Sledge on attempting to clear the castle barricade from the piano windows. A very good notable switch up from the ADSs. There are 2 ADSs in piano that Steno has placed to protect that castle barricade, and Suspended, because there's no players from the Last Resort up and able to play on the skylight, he could just play underneath the skylight, and he has that suppressed MP5, and the smoke covers him in his rotate across the new balcony, and Steno gets another kill. Finally a rotate onto the skylight, but Hazard at 1 versus 4, 1 versus 3 now as he trades onto Steno. It's just fallen apart for Last Resort. It doesn't even need to come down to those final 15 seconds as you asked, Jerry. The round is lost.
Wow. LionsCreed, they're just living in their heads rent-free at this point. What you can say about that right now? Good, nice shots coming in. They work out. what exactly happened in that round, Jerry?
I think, honestly, you know, I was sitting there, I was ready to delve into the deep analysis with Kenny and let him sort of bathe me in sort of interesting kind of interactions. But basically, LC got 2 spawn peak opening frags, like, or 1 spawn peak and 1 from piano, I believe it was. So that dictated the pace of the round. After that, there just weren't enough bodies on the side of TLR to collect the ground they needed, and we saw, like you pointed out, in the middle of the round, a player beneath Skylight and another defender in piano itself playing basically on the piano. You can't push site feasibly with those 2 positions still being held, and maybe you could point to LionsCreed and say, hey, you don't need to be playing it that aggressively in that situation. You can just fall back, you can hold the angles, play for trades, and force the attackers to come into your setup when they have so little utility remaining to clear your own utility. But this is LionsCreed we're talking about, right? They are one of the most momentum-based sides we know of in ECS and in Tier 4, and if you give them an inch, they will take a mile, and they're taking it. They are miles ahead of Last Resort right now, 4-1 the scoreline. It's defensive half Cafe, so we'll reserve judgment, I think, for the long haul, but TLR desperately need this final attacking round of the split, in my opinion.
I think you mentioned something there, okay, which was momentum. Now, when we think about the Last Resort in the last 2 rounds, in my opinion, I think you can see that their mental game is at least struggling. And at least the impression that I'm getting is that it feels as if they have lost some of the energy and the momentum that they were carrying in through their rounds. And you can see that with their movements. You can see how they're pushing together. It feels as if they're a little bit more sluggish than normal, and I'm questioning what the comms would be like right now.
It's interesting, and I love the mental side of Siege. Flowen, he's going to be annoyed. He's the opening death yet again, 1 and 5. That can really hurt a player's confidence in taking future engagements. Last Resort, they're shaping up for a flat bakery take. They've sick picked onto the Maverick, and even though Thatcher's banned, Maverick can pretty much do the same thing. He can open up these hard walls, these reinforcements, with no worry about wall denial. He removes the bandit wire through a little hole he makes, and there we go. Wall opened up from his counterpart in the hard breach department of the Ace. He gets the second one off, job done. Last Resort do not need to clear the top 2 floors to be able to get the bandit wires off. Maverick does the job in a jiffy. Now, the next port of call. Last Resort have to clear the utility on site, but it doesn't matter because Suspended, this is the issue of not clearing top down. Suspended can play in the middle of the bomb site without having to worry about pressure from above. He gets 1 kill and a down as well. That's huge influence there from from LionsCreed, sorry. And Steno adding on. Suspended pops up for a 3rd. It's all up to the Ash of Courage on 20 HP, low HP. He can't even risk crossing to revive his teammate. The Last Resort are falling apart at the seams as the half is all but over. LionsCreed proving their dominance so far here on Cafe. Courage looking to end the round rather swiftly as he doesn't even care about his teammate bleeding out next to him. And it's Suspended with a 4K to finish us off of LionsCreed's defensive half on Cafe. A commanding lead that they now have going into the offense.
Well, on the bright side, they do get to defend now, so hopefully this will be their opportunity to have a bit of a circuit breaker. Slow it down, calm it down, try something new. Bar cocktail, it's a good way to go. Because on the bright side, you do have the bar. Have you ever thought about what they actually sell in that bar?
Probably drinks.
No!
Right?
You don't say!
Well, they almost certainly don't sell cocktails there, because there's cocktail bar next door, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like Capri Sun. You know, like fruit juice.
Oh, what is your favourite flavour of Capri Sun?
Oh, it's got to be like the orange and pineapple.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as
The
they
orange
can.
one is
Yeah.
up there.
I feel like maybe the bar on the bottom floor is the one selling Capri Suns, because, you know, the kids, they can't climb all these stairs, right?
Well, have you ever thought about this? Okay, they've got a bathroom here, and it's only got 1 toilet. For an entire cafe?
It doesn't even have a door.
Yeah!
Hang on. Where are the doors? Where are all the doors in Siege? Nowhere has any doors.
They've
No,
so
some of them
when
have
you're
doors,
taking when you're taking siege of a Russian cafe, you have to have the carpenter by your side to take all the hinges off the doors and let the air flow through the building.
So they did that before starting the siege.
This is a massive operation, and we're not just on about the military side of it.
Yeah, like this is logistically challenging, right?
Jerry, these operators carry 2 massive, well, now 10 massive metal walls in their pockets.
Okay, I've got a question. What do you think is the worst gadget to carry around?
I would.
Like in your pocket, like in your front pocket.
I feel like
Well-
the blowtorch is probably the riskiest. Like I wouldn't want to accidentally lean on the
blowtorch
wrong
in your
button.
pocket, or you just happy to see me?
Imagine like accidentally detonating a Selma charge in your back pocket. That would be terrifying, and possibly
I am
slightly
okay.
erotic.
I am okay. I don't want to think about that. But imagine going to Taco Bell and you accidentally pop a toxic vape.
I mean, I think Goyo knows all about a fiery back pocket.
Oh.
Verns is going to be finding the fiery side of Oculus. They're nading the freezer, and Oculus is out cold. Now, no more smokes for the rest of the round. This Evil Eye, though, has to go spotted by the attack. Otherwise, he's going to be read into hugely and allow Courage to do stuff like this. He takes a couple of fights, wins the first, but he drops into the waiting arms of Steno, who's just there in mining, holding the flank, puts down a flank drone and says, okay, I'm done down here, let's join the attack.
I mean, if it looks stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. And right now, Steno proving the point here as he's going to be applying pressure in through Piano. As Kaiju will get the first kill onto Float. Will be refragged. The 3v2 situation here. Heavy Vuns up against the wall for now alongside Steno. Hazard trying to get a shot on through the bathroom. Won't quite connect onto the player of new platform. As Vuns will be close by. Hazard will take down Steno. The refrag comes across. Vuns will now be downed. Leaving it all up to Heavy versus Prisma. Could potentially go for that pick-me-up. However, it is not really advisable because he's in a bit of a precarious position here. We see the L-Ping is coming across. Prisma pushing up. Danger close. As Varns could be used as a living drone here. They could, well, pretty effectively just throw him out there to try and bait him out. The grenade will get thrown out by Heavy. Do a little bit of damage onto Prisma. We'll be able to get the kill onto Varns. Now leaving it at 1v1. Push it across. SG-11 in hand for Heavy.
Heavy!
Oh, sure, he takes him down.
Oh my goodness! Wow! You even saw that the defense of TLR had a Valkyrie cam giving live intel to the Malusi on Heby's position. What a flick from the man, the myth, the legend. He'll love me for saying it. Heby, I came in today, wanted to slander you, but boy, I gotta praise you for that one. A cool head in the 1 versus 1. He didn't rush to pick up his teammate. He knew that the Malusi was hungry to capitalize on the intel that his teammates from the Black Eye Cams were gifting him. Heby was up to the task, and LionsCreed move on to match point. A very, very swift map so far. Coastline went the distance. Cafe, we've only just got started and it could all be over, and we're heading to the decider, which would be Clubhouse if we need it. But last resort, they still have the defense on Cafe. It could be possible to bring it back.
One thing that kept LC ahead in that round and kept them in the driver's seat right the way to the end was refrags. Steno getting a couple of very key ones early on. First onto the player that dropped down into Killers, and then second up onto someone inside of Bar, and then he goes down, and Verns immediately refragging him. That final engagement with Verns down and Heby up, you could call that a refrag. Essentially, they stayed a man ahead all the way through that round, and you got to give credit to them. They were playing close. They were playing very well coordinated. The calls must have been zipping across from player to player so fast. And, I mean, look at the results. 6-1. It's much easier to spot that kind of play when they're on the attack, and it's really, really showing now. TLR have it all to do. They've got to string together 5 rounds, and I don't know, it's very difficult to to try and hype up something that seems like it's already dead in the water.
Bomb located by attackers.
Well, speaking of dead, on the bright side, nobody's died just yet. Towards Oculus, however, hate to say it, currently going 1-1-6.
Oh.
Hoping we might see him popping up a little bit more, and not just in the kill feed for dying first, but actually in the kill department. Skurex will take down Suspended before immediately being demolished by Heavy. Kaiju playing over by the A windows for now, having a nice time. He's the Goyle. C4 in the pocket could be used potentially for, well, indirect fire to destroy an enemy. We've got Oculus playing inside of Freezer from now. So far we are seeing the Freezer
Attackers recovered the bomb
being,
diffuser.
well, at least somewhat protected for now. Heavy is underneath with the butt used above as Vons will rotate across. So far, a bit of a slower taking across by LionsCreed. Not quite sure what they're planning on doing just yet.
It seems like they're just trying to push in from underneath, which is a far cry from the sort of standard approach, and so far it hasn't worked for them. Because, well, at one point Kaiju was happy to just swing on Cocktail Window and get a freebie for himself. Vern's beneath with Diffuser is getting pressured slowly by Prisma, who's inching his way down these white stairs, but right now, LC don't really have the bodies to just pile into Cocktail. Heavy's doing some key drone work here, making sure that bar itself is clear, but I don't know if they're aware of the player very close on pipes. Verns appears to be droning out white right now, and that will spot Prisma. Prisma takes out the drone and falls back. Heavy has made his way into Freezer. No, is he in Cocktail? No, he's downstairs
He's
right
below.
now. Yeah, he's below. So, very steady stuff here from LC. And they need to try and get a move on or find an early pick sooner or later.
Yeah, Heavy's just trying to force these players on site into the waiting arms of Steno on that cocktail rappel. But Steno, he makes the call. He's sat too long on this window without getting a pick, and he rotates across to the new balcony and finds that pick elsewhere inside a piano. Hazard down on Pixel, now opens up the availability of LionsCreed pushing into the bomb site. Yes, there's utility to walk through. There's a Banshee here that Steno could clear, but he chooses to vault over the bar elsewhere. He gets gunned down by Oculus. There's the older reigning free, but LC, it's Verns and Heavy yet again to come alive. They don't care if they're in the man deficit. They can suffocate out these remaining anchors, and LC take Cafe 7-1. We're heading to Clubhouse, Fraser. These two teams, they've been at each other's throat all day so far. We're gonna need the decider of Clubhouse to separate them.
Well, LionsCreed looking like they're trying to speed run through to that last map. As you mentioned, we are going all the way. We've got to go all three maps. First map went the side of TLR. The second map went in favour of LionsCreed. This third map, well, Kenny, I'm not quite sure who's going to be coming out on top for that one. What we can say about... Oh, go on.
Jesus. It's Jerry the Ghost.
Ooh.
Hello?
I can see into the future.
What are your predictions from the future?
There will be a short break before Clubhouse.
I'm so fucking done with you. Oh, you know what? Alright. I brought it out before we go to a break, okay? Rock, paper, scissors. Come on, Kenny. Gotta do it. Alright. Who are we feeling? Alright. Who are you going with?
My personal predictions, I predicted LC to win this game, so I'm going to stick by them.
Okay, so you're going LionsCreed. I'll go TLR then in that case. You ready?
Yes.
Are we going to do best of one or best of three?
I think best of three. We've got to say testament to where we are. Are we going on shoot or are we going on three?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay. TLR, get the first one.
Right.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Are you doing this by round?
Alright, come on. Third
Because
one, let's
that's
go.
gonna take really long.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh!
Alright. We've seen
I
into
get
the
it.
future. Jerry the fortune teller is telling us there's a swift break, so we will be back in a few minutes for Clubhouse. Don't go anywhere.
the time, hold your breath, you're the only one I see. Breathe me in, taste your lips, you're the only high I need. I'm losing control, your eyes entice me. Just letting go, your hold is tightening. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. You're the only high I need. I feel you taking over. I feel you taking over. Take me high, break me down. You're the flashing lights I see. Catch my soul, lose my mind. You're the only trip I need. I'm losing control. Your eyes entice me. Just letting go, your hold is tightening. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. I feel you rushing through my veins. Our bodies getting closer. Your heartbeat drives me insane. I feel you taking over. You're the only high I need. I feel you taking over. I feel you taking over.
Alright, welcome back everyone. It is the be all and end all. This is it. Map 3, the decider between LionsCreed and The Last Resort, to figure out who goes through to our best of 5 grand final on Sunday evening. In chat, get your predictions in. Who's going to win it out? LionsCreed or The Last Resort? Fraser, we had our rock, paper, scissors. LionsCreed there were the winners. But in the server, we could see a different story.
Yeah, I'm just gutted because it's not going to be Paragon. So, would I love to see Paragon play? I heard very nice things about them. But we're now going to be looking over towards this match here. Two fantastic teams. We got the LionsCreed versus The Last Resort. Well, the most standard operator bands in existence. Thatcher and Maverick both taken off the board. Habana will be in play, as will Ace. We're likely to expect that Akali may or may not get brought out in order to open up some of these walls and hatches. Providing Cade is unbanned. Cade Bandit. Cade will get taken off by The Last Resort, leaving the last ban up for grabs. I'd expect potentially Mera, but honestly, who knows?
It was interesting, actually, like the amount of Mira that makes her way through the ban phase on Clubhouse in particular lately, at least for games that I've casted, is surprising. And she does see a very sort of effective use, but she's not going to be in play here. Gym is usually her stronghold, and that being a tertiary site, it's not the most valuable ban on Clubhouse, so you can understand why she does maybe make her way through sometimes. Wamai, certainly a powerful ban, especially if you're looking to tackle Garage as your main entry point for a cash take. But, yeah, not too much to read into here with the ban phase. Like you said, Maverick and Thatcher very much stunts the attack, but look at this. We've got the double hard breach to try and account for that. Zofia, Ashe, Yana with nades, plenty of means of removing any sort of breach denial. The only form of which on the side of LC is going to be brought in the form of mute. But more importantly, with this lineup, we can tell they're going to be going for somewhat of an SSG roam strat here.
The coveted SSG roam. I love seeing the SSG roam inside of T4. I find it really interesting to see how teams tackle it on the attacking side. We do typically see a lot of dirt rushes just to completely ignore the roam game, potentially even blue rushes down the stock hatch, which is more often than not left soft, so we could see a sledge just sledge all 5 members down there into the meat grinder. There's no sledge on the board for TLR. They sig pick into the Monty, so this is interesting. LionsCreed have obviously shown the all 4 operators bar castle sig picked onto the castle, but Last Resort should know that those 4 operators, the Mozzie, Mute, Vigil, Legion, is the staple mark of an SSG run. So sig picking into the Monty, I kind of question why they're going for that Monty pick. Potentially a dirt rush with Monty spearheading that assault. It could be interesting to see how the Monty plays out if they actually want to clear this roam.
He is an effective roam clear operator. It's sometimes forgotten. He's very good on the execute, don't get me wrong, but the speed with which he can help you take floor is almost second to none, barring possibly Blitz, but he's a bit more of a solo-oriented style operator, Blitz, and doesn't seem too much competitive play. The interesting factor that I'd like to point out is that they're choosing that Monty directly into a Legion. And, I mean, that's just not really as optimal as you'd want. I think perhaps we could get a view of the top floor, Grissom, and see how this roam is going to be playing out and whether it's something that TLR are looking to deal with. Here we go. So suspended, still lurking around, but it doesn't look like they're dealing with it. It's a dirt push.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen a rapid entry in towards the bomb site there. Hazard let loose with that. Ashe, Prisma's already going in for the plant. His Courage is going to be covering and providing a lot of information. They know where Steno is. Oculus going to have to cover that one out. Steno will get one, but Oculus takes down his own player. The Montaigne dead. Hazard is going to be missing onto Bonds. Very low HP. Will get the kill. Leaving it now effectively a 2v1 engagement. Steno up against the wall. Will get the kill onto Kaiju. Leave it up to Hazard on the Ashe. Both fairly low HP, as we're going to see the dance of death occurring. Steno pushing over towards the blue area. Hazard looking around, trying to find the kills. Steno will get the kill. Vinder's going to be able to win that one out. LionsCreed. Okay. Good job, guys, says Steno in a happy, positive tone. Being very supportive and constructive towards his opponents. Very nice.
Yeah, it's good to see the good sportsmanship all round from LionsCreed, something they're well known
Honestly,
for.
yeah.
Wow.
Kenny, what's your take on that round?
I mean, we were 0.3 of a second away from an assured TLR post plan. Steno, even though the Montaigne blocked the lane from Long Hall into Armory through the only doorway, we saw a pretty thoroughly Heavy making a rotate on the ash wall with Castle. Thank you, Grissom, for showcasing that Castle making a rotate for such a long time, because I can now digress about it. Steno was able to completely elude the lane that the Montaigne was blocking. He managed to worm his way into back Arsenal and then deny the plant which was going down behind the AKs. But the planter of I assume Prisma, sorry, he wasn't behind the black box, which is a hard cover. He was open to the peak from back Arsenal, and it just put salt in the wounds, the fact that the last resort team killed their Montaigne, and we've got to give credit to Steno. He played that perfectly. He took the one-on-one engagements that TLR gave to him, and the 1 versus 4 that Steno got on Cafe, they were one-on-one engagements that the last resort gave him, and yet again we've seen one-on-one engagements given to Steno, and if any player on LionsCreed can win their ones, it's Steno.
I mean, fair play to Oculus. He was able to get at least 1 kill in that round. I'm not going to discuss how. As, well, we are seeing the castle played inside of Garage, but interesting to note that we are not seeing Wamai being played in that position. As, the Ash will be used to try and clear out some stuff below. Oculus will get a kill onto Suspended before promptly being demolished by Steno. ASM will go down. That's going to allow Kaiju to try and challenge the player inside of Garage. Bonds will get the kill onto Courage. Is the Montaigne dead from a C4 inside of, I believe, was that Opit? Nope. No, it was not.
Harry Potter.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
interesting.
I can't believe he just got away with chucking that out the window and taking down the Monty. That was a Hail Mary C4, to be honest, and it's worked out very nicely. Prisma as well, very much on the nearer side of death there. And Flown is still in support up here in Rafters, so they need to get rid of Verns, really, as they want to contest Garage at all. I feel like this is just a bit of a waste of time, to be honest, and Heavy is actually going to strike out of the breach, taking down Hazard at range first, and then Kaiju close up. Now it's all up to Prisma, the lone hard breach with only a sliver of HP. He's got a few flashes to his name, but Flown will end his life in a flash. And LC, they gather another round, a lot more convincingly than the first.
That was a castle.
Yeah.
On top of Catwalk.
I've never seen that. Like,
With a UMP-45?
to be fair, the guy was lit up, right?
That's the worst gun in the game!
Playing
Famously.
homage to our recently retired.
Canadian.
Don't make me sad.
I watched
I'm sad now.
Do you watch the Intero 6-on-6, the retirement
I didn't.
home one?
I didn't want to, because it was just I couldn't
Heartbreaking.
bring myself to.
Yeah,
I saw all those faces. Like another 2 of them turned up last minute. It was like, oh yeah, Shate, why don't you just join us?
Yeah.
And be sad.
Bro.
And then even Intero begged the question. He asked each one of them what was their lowest point in Siege, and I was
Oh my god!
I was just like,
Oh, come
no, my
on.
heart, come on, Intero, what are you doing?
It's like a rom-com gone bad.
That's not a rom-com. That's just a horror.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
a tragedy.
Well, yeah, two successful defenses now for LionsCreed at the start of the Decider map, and they now head up to Gym and Bedroom, which the tertiary bomb site. We're not going to see Barstock. I've seen Barstock defended once by the infamous Jet Ski Boys, and that was in a rather memey matchup, which is probably why we saw Barstock, but it was successfully defended. So Barstock inside of ECS has a 100% win rate on defense.
I turned up to see a Benelux game being casted by Whippet
Yeah.
and Two Doors the other day, and the moment I joined the stream, I witnessed a Barstock defense 1. and I was like, what am I...
Like-
what? Like, Fraser, you have some experience with Benelux, right? I suppose that's not...
There
the
are some
craziest
things that you
thing.
look at, and it's just like, why are you doing that?
Attackers have recovered their
Well, they made it work. That was the weird thing.
That's saying more about the opponents half the time than your own strat.
True. I can't remember who it was, but whoever it was that lost to that, come on. Like, come on.
Jury slander.
A bomb has been located.
It's not wrong. That's
It's
the
okay, I'm
worst
not
part.
naming any names.
Like, I'm gonna take a while in the darkness. It was during the qualifier, right?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why they probably didn't qualify. Anyway, we're looking at it right now. I'm being honest, alright? Anyway, we're looking at it right now. We are seeing Jacuzzi will being opened up by Kaiju. That's going to allow TLR at least some form of access over towards this position. Get it? Access, because, you know, Vexed. Never mind.
Ah.
I probably could have led up to that somehow, but I didn't.
Well, it certainly made me vex.
Well, Kaiju will get the kill onto Heavy. That's going to be the bathroom cleared up. That's not going to allow them another line of sight on towards that A-bomb site for now. I'm looking over towards Oculus, however. I want to see where they're choosing to push his Hazard on that B-bomb window. Kaju's the one with the diffuser, so he will be the one to dictate which kind of direction this attack will go. Steno will get one before being traded out in retaliation. Hazard will be downed. Could be picked up here, but I don't know where he is just yet. Vuns playing inside of construction for now will have to try and deny the pressure coming in. We'll be able to rotate across deeper into the A-bomb for now. Suspended will be demolished by Prisma, leaving it all up to Vuns and, well, Flown to try and deny anything here. C4 in the pocket by Vuns, not going to be thrown out just yet. Could potentially go for a run out or jump out, but no, C4 goes out, doesn't connect. It's an unfortunate situation here.
Yeah, it leaves Flown on his own inside a bathroom, but he's playing the close angle with the UMP. Not a high fire rate, but the gun does pack a punch. And lit opponents on the Ash and the Ace, it can only take a couple of bullets to down either of them. But the clock ticks down. It's been a deceptively swift round. And Last Resort still have to make their way onto the bomb site. Flown gets droned out and makes a very nice rotate into 90, but it's caught by Kaiju on the Ace. He makes his way into bomb site. And now starts to plant the diffuser. 15 seconds down. Vern's inside of construction. Could utilize the feet holes to his advantage and deny the plant, but it gets stuck and completed. He's going to worm his way into logistics, and this rotate will be caught by Courage. And yes, there it is. Last Resort do get their first successful attack on to Gym and Bedroom, but I'm sure LionsCreed, with their tertiary bomb sites, they won't be too worried.
Quick control established there by Last Resort, and a decent amount of cover on the plant. That's all you really need. I do believe that there was a player on highway making sure that Verns was unable to try and peek from the construction door during that plant, and that's all you really need. Another inside of office, and really Verns didn't have many options in that post plant. The one thing he had going for him, I would say, is that the attackers were quite spread out in the post plant. He had the opportunity to take ones, and I don't think that TLR really should have given it to him. And I suppose Kaiju may have been able to go and back up one of those two players, but either way, it's by the by right now, because Last Resort did manage to secure that round, and rightfully so. LionsCreed now moving on to the basement, and they are rocking the same lineup as are TLR, bringing that Monty. To be fair to them, TLR's execution was very good last round, last time they attacked Church, bar the failure to get the plant down and the team kill that just spiraled everything out of control. Even post that point, it was still a winnable situation, and Steno just clutched up huge. So I don't think they need to adjust their strategy. I'm going to be intrigued to see if LC are maybe quicker to return home, and maybe read into the fact that TLR are not really too fussed about the drone presence from LionsCreed.
It'd be nice to see some of these players paying a little bit more attention to the game than the in-game chat, but you know what? Fair enough to them. Looking over towards us right now, both teams making sure that they're all having a nice day. Nice interaction coming down from Kaiju, too heavy. Nice to see. They're asking how their day's been. And I'm going to ask a very important question as well to you, Kenny. How's your day been?
My day has been fantastic, thank you. I had a very nice roast dinner at work for lunch. and then set myself down with a little VOD review before the cast today, and we're going to see the exact same strategy coming through Dirt Tunnel. The Montaigne being the spearhead of that push. Hopefully he won't be shot in the back of his head by Oculus this round. So, smartly enough, it's Kaiju situated behind the Montaigne. The Gumai spotted out. That will mean that Kurex is going to be wary about pushing into the bomb site. But you see the outlines. LionsCreed, they already have 3, maybe 4 members down on the bomb site. And this is a faked dirt rush from Last Resort. And that's basically cleared the room from LionsCreed. There's only one LionsCreed member still alive upstairs.
Well, that is going to be unfortunate. Not only did they lose the ace of, well, Kaiju, but they also lose some of those ex-Kairos. Very nicely baited out there by Prisma, only using 2 of them at a time. It means that, well, ultimately they're going to run out of impact grenades. Oculus is going to be using the verticality to try and deny any pressure into the B-bomb site for now, as Kurax will pick up the diffuser. He will be reinforced right now by Prisma. Oculus staying above for now for that moral support. Hazard also going to be, well, I'm going to hazard a guess and say that he's going to try and apply pressure somewhere. I guess we'll have to wait and see where. Kurax trying to push into position behind AK, spotting out and dislodging the smoke there. Going in aggressively for the kill onto the Legion. We'll get that down. Leaving it effectively a 3v3 is going in for the plan. Hazard, Prisma, both need to try and cover this, as Prisma will be the player inside of Dirt from now, as Hazard did drop down potentially. Good position by Kurax. We'll wait and see how this plays out, as Hazard will take down Stero, leave it up to Suspended to apply pressure onto Kurax. We'll get the kill. Suspended trying to defuse this for now. Hazard will be denied any pressure. Heavy will cover it successfully here, and well, Suspended is going to be able to make that one happen.
Heavy with a very nice bit of cover there, and unfortunately for TLR, the cover from Dirt that would have prevented Kurax from worming his way through blue just wasn't there for the split second that the Mozzie decided to push the Monty, and that ultimately proved to be the final blow, because once he'd got in that position, it became so difficult to remove him from his opportunity to defuse. And to be honest, it was actually fairly easy for the remaining defender to just watch, keep guard, and make sure that he didn't go down. And getting that counter defuse, honestly, they made it look easy, but it was a slight slip up from TLR that allowed it to happen in my books.
Yeah, and we see the Monty nerf, or the shield nerf, come into action there. The Montaigne isn't that mountain that he used to be. You cannot just stand in a corner post plant and be safe. You don't have to dance that dance with the defender swapping from right to left, trying to catch you out on your rotate of your mouse. This time, with the changes to the shield guard, you can now, while Montaigne is fully extended, melee his shield, and he exposes a bit of his leg, like Clash does when you melee her. Montaigne does the same thing, but not as big of an extent. That's a really good showing from Suspended to be able to hit those shots at such close range and under such pressure as well in a post plant. You're time pressured. There's still 3 members of TLR up, 2 with actual guns, 1 being the Montaigne. Impressive retake from LC and Heavy. He has been a rock so far today in this matchup for LC, and he stood strong. The UMP, it may be a bad gun, but Heavy was positioned so well to cover his teammate. And I think you've got to question the plant spot from Kurax. It looked like a really rushed plant from the Monty, with not much thought into where he was actually planting, because the player inside of Dirt Tunnel could not cover the diffuser post plant because of the changes to the second box 2 inside of Arsenal, that being doubled in size. Now, being extra tall, meant that you can't cover the dummy's plant spot from Dirt Tunnel.
Hello, welcome back. Yeah, I mean, I think you're entirely right when we're discussing this here. I like the adaptation coming down from LionsCreed, recognizing how TLR were attempting to play that, specifically with the Montaigne being able to bring out the suitable counters to that smoke. That's something also I want to talk about, is the fact that we don't see the smoke playing inside of Dot directly behind the shield, stacked up with the ADSs. We don't see the might being brought out. These are small things that usually you would see being brought out to counter certain styles of play, and instead of doing that, LionsCreed, well, they are choosing their own form of dealing with it, and that is by hunkering on the bomb site and letting them come deeper into the bomb site, and it's working out for them. They're able to deal with them effectively on home turf, and I like that.
I totally agree. I don't know if Ghost Jerry is up in the clouds at this time.
You called.
What wisdom do we have, Ghost Jerry?
We
What can
will
you spring
see
upon
a
us?
4-2 split.
That's
Okay.
wise words from our grandfather of ECS. Coming down from well, thankfully he's not a real life ghost. He's not 6 feet
Attackers
under.
need to locate
I also
he
ceased
is
to be a
here.
ghost.
Wait,
That's
have
the
you ever thought about that? Alright, think about this, okay? Why do you assume, like, ghosts are coming... Why does he sound like he's coming from above? Right? When in reality, if he's a ghost, that means he's dead, so he's probably 6 feet under.
No, but Jerry's such a wonderful human. He would be in heaven.
You sure about that?
Are you sure about that? Bro, have you seen his beard? I know, that. He's going to hell. He's ginger. Gingers don't go to heaven.
We don't go anywhere. We don't have souls.
Exactly.
So it would be 6 feet under.
5 seconds remaining.
Interesting.
I
Maybe
guess
the ghost
you'd say
bit
he's
is like
coming
in
from
terms
the
of
line down under.
Attackers'
lore.
objective is to locate
This
a
ghost
bomb
bit
and
is
defuse
very
it.
ill thought through.
Yeah. Also, think about this. Okay, if you're a ghost and you could go through walls, why don't you fall through the floor?
I think it's a matter of choice. Right? I get to
No.
choose whether I go through a wall or not. I hope. I don't know. I'm new to this whole ghost thing.
I'm
I need
thinking
to-
about this.
I
I'm
haven't
just
read
like,
the instruction manual yet.
I've seen some plot holes here. Anyway, we should get back on topic a little bit more. We're seeing the cache CCTV hold being brought out. Yet again, we've got the castle playing inside of Catwalk. Once is close by. Oculus will be the first death from Steno. Lots of love to Oculus. We'll take him down. That's going to give the man count advantage in favour of LionsCreed yet again, as we are seeing pressure being applied. That mute jammer that is stacked up on that CCTV will be denied from below, potentially. Not yet. Hazard. Looking over towards how he can play here. Kenny, take us through this.
The setup from LC is superb, and it allowed Steno to get that opening frag, but I'll explain that later. Kaiju, he just enters with the AK-12 and gets 2, has attacks on for a 3rd, and this garage hold has been absolutely pulled apart thanks to the Montaigne putting pressure on the castle to overpeak, and that's mainly what a Montaigne does. He applies pressure to defenders. Steno applying his own pressure on the other side of the map, getting the kill onto Hazard. That's the Ash down. But traded HP. Steno, he will die to a single bullet from most of these attacking rifles. More importantly, the Ash has no breaching charges to remove these evil eyes, so live intel and the potential to shock one of the attackers to death. And there we go, a bit of damage done to Kaiju. That will soften him up a little bit as Heavy now makes the rotate downstairs. He has those impact grenades to be able to deny the initial plant. Soft floor inside of Lounge, but Kaiju is wise to the rotate from Heavy down below. Courage has to pull off because of the impact grenade going off. He gets picked below, but not before Steno could kill the player on server window. Now left in the 1 versus 2. Steno already hitting double digits in 5 rounds so far for LC. He has a tall order to kill a Monty and Kaiju covering. Montaigne going for that plant, but Steno's going to rotate below. The Evil Eye giving him so much intel, but he can't deny it. The bomb goes down, and now he has to retake up the red stairs with Coolrax blocking his entryway through the red hall. It's going to be radio door the choice. He has obviously intel on the breach. Kaiju's going to be playing really passive because this is an almost impossible retake for the man dripped in rogue uniform. Will he do his best rogue impression and not throw? It's Kaiju there, and Kaiju hits the shots. Last resort finally with another attack.
I think the ghost of Jerry Future possibly getting one right here is we're heading to... We've got a 3-2 scoreline right now, but I still think that LC have it in them to turn this round and have a second go at that clash defense. There were signs of brilliance there, but ultimately, as you mentioned, Kenny, it was that dismantling of the garage setup with the use of the Monty that really turned the tide in favour of TLR. I want to see how LC respond to this. Certainly they have the tools at their disposal. Legion on, or suspended on the Legion will be a part of that, but it needs to be more than just goo mines, right? It needs to be a coordinated, a concerted effort to resist that push, and perhaps maybe even the possibility of just falling back and conceding that ground, because Monty is powerful, but he sees a lot of his power sort of stacked in that area of the map. Once he's on site, he's a little bit more fragile, a little bit more susceptible to things like C4s from beneath, to the gas canisters that are not being brought this time by LC, to other such things like crossfires that can be set up by the defense. It's a difficult site to set up crossfires on, to be fair, but if you hold on to the control beneath, then that's certainly something. I would like to see perhaps that being more prioritized from LC in this round as opposed to garage.
People always ask, where is Montaigne, and not how is Montaigne? I have no point to that. I just wanted to say it.
We'll probably reply in French, and I think as none of us are native to
Bonjour,
that region.
Ça va. Ça va.
Ça va bien.
Oui.
Je m'appelle Fraser.
Oh, bonjour Fraser. Je m'appelle Gerard.
I'm trying to think of.
I'm digging back into my like year 9 French and like, voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Yeah, I think I'll need to give you
remember,
2 or 3 after this.
So the only bit of Dutch I was taught by some Dutch players was hoe graag het met je moeder.
Noah, can you confirm for us whether this is legitimate Dutch or not?
It is. Hoe graag het met je moeder.
It sounds rude.
No, it's not. It is not rude at all. It's actually rather friendly. Anyway, we are seeing the Maestro Evil Eyes providing a lot of information towards the defensive team of LionsCreed. Vaughn's playing at the bottom of Adam, and the blue staircase for now, just kind of vibing, having a nice time, just wandering about. He's having a good time.
He does have a C4 in hand, and that is pivotal because unless he's challenged, then he can really deal some damage to the default part. This has to be surely on the minds of TLR. They have the man advantage, they have the resources to be able to vote to protecting the Monty, and Hazard is doing just that, taking out Vern's beneath first of all. Now, no C4 left. 3 versus 5. Monty still up. Plenty of smokes and execute utility. This is going to be a really tough ask for LC, but with the Alder in hand, and with Steno still up, I think anything is possible here for LC.
Certainly so, Jerry, but as Heavy falls, the Older goes down. Suspended, he needs a pick. Steno or Suspended, they need to find a pick somewhere, and Steno is doing exactly that. Looking for that pick inside of Radio Door, playing aggressive, but he will be able to net it from Cash. That's the covering player in Garage Don, and Steno crosses across the breach, but is finally punished. Suspended in a 1 versus 4, he has a mountain to climb and a mountain to try and melee across, and he does that. The feet being exposed from the melee. Now, he has the T5 in hand, but Last Resort are playing this super passively. They want to net a 3-3 half on their attacking side of Clubhouse. That is a very good half as the bans are looking. Suspended, he needs to find something as the time dwindles down. He only has around 5 seconds to find 4 kills, 3 kills and the diffuser. He nets 1, but the long rappel head glitch angle from Hazard. The R4C reigns a pretty song, and TLR reign not quite supreme just yet, but with a 3-3 half, they're looking good going into the second split.
Well, we are going to ask for a second opinion regarding our ghost. Our ghostly ghost, Jerry. 3-3 scoreline. How'd you feel?
I'm going to have some words with the ghost after this.
You are the ghost. What do you mean?
No, the ghost is a character.
Uh-huh.
He only appears when my face doesn't show up on the desk screen.
We don't have your face on the desk screen right now.
That's not what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I do, and I'm
You're messing with me. Stop messing with me.
Bro, that's my job.
Fair point. Well,
My job is to sit here and be as frustrating as possible and as infuriating as possible. Because a lot of people dislike my casting, and you know what? Who cares? I actually don't. It's great. I love it. We're vibing.
I think if the ghost were here,
Uh-huh.
then what he would say is that was a great rally from the last resort. That was unexpected. Not even he could see it coming. If I were to stick a mirror up on my wall behind my monitor and gaze into the shiny crystal ball that is my skull, I still couldn't tell you what is going to happen in the remaining, well, 6 rounds? 3 rounds? Who knows? It won't be 3. It'll be at least 4. But
Your shiny bald head is brighter than the future of at least one of these.
that's
Yeah,
one way of putting it.
one team has to go home on this map. Well, not quite home. They go
I mean, you'd
into
hope
the
that they're
3rd and
already home.
4th. No, Two Lord made that joke a couple of days ago and I cringed. Anyway, the defense from Last Resort. This is a really special hold. So with the Wamai being unbanned, it allows you to extend into construction without sacrificing your garage hold. The Wamai being unbanned means he can sit on rafters and chuck out his discs to be able to protect himself. But Courage is actually situated inside of Gym. There's no
Attackers have
rotate
located a
out
bomb.
of Gym into Masters, so he's stuck there for the time being, potentially prying and praying that LC do not drone him out inside of Gym. The split take inside.
Come on.
I'm sorry, Jim just gets...
Keep going.
Jim
Come
doesn't
on.
get much attention, does he?
The split take inside the LionsCreed camp starts. But the defense from Last Resort, they're ready for this. They've reinforced the logistics to construction walls. So that means that LC are going to have to use their hard breach to utility to be able to open up the angle into construction. The first kill of the round goes onto the Wamai. Ironic, as Verns was just nading the mute jammer off the wall from server window. CC wall gets opened. He nets a buy one, get one free. He gets the mute jammer and a kill for his troubles. Karax goes down, and that Wamai being off the board so early is quite important because the Wamai, he gains value over time. Those discs charge like goo mines do. And that means that more projectiles from the LionsCreed attack will find their intended targets.
Lost contact
Burns
with your...
just scouting out the top of rafters there, finds the prone Hazard. But are they aware of Kaiju on the flank here? Certainly you'd hope so. If you're a LionsCreed fan, you should have some flank drones in place. But with 5 up, you need to make sure that someone's sitting on them. And right now, I don't think anyone is. As we can see the little bars on their UI, it shows that they're not on their drones. Kaiju does, though, back away and now suspended. Collects a kill onto Oculus. This is looking rough for TLR. C4 comes out underneath, and I believe that's just detonated, but it doesn't connect with anyone. Hazard does find one, but the diffuser does go down successfully. Suspended with the cover, takes out the player top of red, and now it's all on the remaining 2 defenders, but they go down in a heap. Verns trades out without even dying. In fact, no, this is Verns on the window. But it was just a flurry of kills that worked for them, and I don't know what to say. I don't understand what happened besides LionsCreed winning. That's all I can say.
I can help you out, Jerry.
Go on, help me, help me.
LC are one of the best clubhouse attacking teams I've seen inside of T4. I remember playing clubhouse against LC, and I did not have a fun time on defense. How to describe it in simple terms? They basically know where you are, and they hold every single angle so you cannot move.
I need it in simpler terms. I'm a very simple man.
All right. Scope, look forward.
Attackers need to
You
locate
sit
and
still.
defuse as
If
many bombs
move,
as
you
they
die.
can.
I think I'm
Alright,
getting
I
it.
can give you one better.
Okay, go on.
Yeah.
I get it. Thank you, Fraser. That was so enlightening. Kenny, you
Like,
just had to
alright,
learn a thing
I
or two.
really-
Kenny.
yeah,
as
I
a
really need to
brief
improve.
TLDR,
Yeah.
okay, if you want to know how LionsCreed are winning, look at their gunfights, look at the kill feed. They are getting it done. They're winning their shots, they're hitting their shots.
10 seconds left.
When you're looking at players like Steno, he's going 11 and 5.
5
Damn.
seconds to go.
He's going 11 and 5. And then you wonder, how are they winning? Maybe it's got something to do with the fact that they're going like 4v2 half the rounds. When we're
Sometimes
looking at TLR, look at that!
Oof. Sometimes it do just be that simple. Peter. And yeah, you don't have to be a genius to work out that LionsCreed are doing very nicely right now. Despite the fact that TLR did collect those 3 attacking rounds. Like you said, Kenny, LionsCreed attacking Clubhouse is a force to be reckoned with. They have a reputation to uphold here. And TLR, they're going for a slightly different approach to the one we saw LionsCreed employ on this basement defense. Far more turtled up. They have plenty of intel at their disposal as well. Bringing that Valk, hiding them in various places to make sure that they can combat the approach. But Prisma is going to miss a key impact nade onto that hatch, and he misses the second as well. So a couple of impacts wasted, and the hatch opened successfully. Now, Courage and Prisma are dicing with death here. Prisma will pay for it. Steno finds him, but Courage has C4 in hand, maybe looking to deliver a bit of a nasty surprise to any of the players in kitchen. We've got ourselves some presence on main stairs. Bit of drone work being done by Steno on that Zofia, trying to drone himself in through main. Courage does finally strike with a C4, taking down Suspended in main hall above, and now without the Ash, that's a bit less utility for the take. Hazard and Verns each collect a kill, 3 versus 3 now, and with half the round left to go, we're setting ourselves up for a fairly even battle at the very end of this thing.
Yeah, now Oculus has rotated out of Dart, the position that he was holding for the longest time there. Has instead elected to hold it inside of, well, Arsenal. Well, now, still got 3 Toxababe canisters, could be thrown out for about 30 to 33 seconds worth of plant denial, area denial, stuff denial. Vuns will be on the motor hatch. Well, now Hazard will get the kill onto Clone. As Vuns does drop down the hatch, will get the kill onto the Valk. Clearly not aware of that positioning or that drop down, potentially couldn't hear it. As Hazard is now going to be stacked up on that table. Wants to take a little bit of damage from Oculus. Stop, as we like to call him there, as Hazard will take down Heavy. Giving it now a 2v1 engagement here. Vuns, well, it's going to be a rough one for him to try and overcome. The frag grenade in the pocket will get tossed out. Hazard forced in to the front and will take down Burns. Very well played. Left side of TLR, fully maximising the utility that they had available to, well, take those gunfights and win.
That round showed a lot more to me about the last resort. Not just them winning the round, but the fact that they're not really playing into the bans. Thatcher and Maverick are banned away, and they forewent any kind of wall denial on Church Wall. That round could have been a lot worse than it turned out to be. If LC had the man count in their favour going into opening up that Church Wall, we could have seen another heavy LC victory on a round, because opening up Church Wall when kitchen hatch is open, blue hatch is open, where is you as a defender gonna sit? There's basically the church bomb, which we saw Hazard tiptoe around and collect the final 2 kills. But if there were 4, maybe 5 LC members up on the board, Hazard's dead in that position. Vern still had 2 frag grenades. If there was a player to be able to burn an ADS, potentially we see Vern collect that kill with a frag. But it wasn't to be. TLR, they hung tight and they collected the round just about, from my opinion. And they go back up to CCTV now for round 9. They're not going for this one, my Goyo extension into construction. They're going for a more standard hold in garage, reinforcing all 4 garage walls. And the drone denial combo of the Mozzie and the Mute. I assume that those Mozzie pests will be positioned below, potentially on the Master side of things, to try and stop LionsCreed progressing through Gym and Master as quickly as they did in the prior round.
You mentioned Hazard, And I just want to pick up on the fact that right now, he's on 13 kills and 4 deaths. That is superb. He's absolutely wrecking the server right now. And the way he played that last round was pretty spectacular, to be honest. Because, like you said, once that church wall gets opened, even at a man disadvantage, that's an advanced position to be playing in. You've got to worry about a few different angles. You're very locked in place. But when you're feeling it like he is, you're happy to take those very kind of tight engagements where you've only got a tiny bit of wiggle room. And he played it very well. He managed to gather both the final kills for himself. So, yeah, that's just a sign of the confidence that is flowing through this guy right now. And it's a shame that we see him go down first in the round, as I'm heaping praise upon him, because now that leaves the last resort without someone that has been performing incredibly so far this game. And this round looks like, well, it might be Kaiju, looking at the stats, that has to really step it up here.
Yeah, I mean, Heavy now going to be rotating over towards that main breach. So has already been opened up by Flown. On that ace, could potentially go over towards Garage. They could try and clear that position out. That will allow them to start funneling in towards that B-bomb site for now. As Kaiju looking towards challenging onto the breach directly, will get the kill onto Heavy. Savannah dead. Flashbangs off the board. And, well, a gun dead. That's actually crucial because it's going to equalise up the man count. It's going to allow them, well, to alleviate some of the pressure. As Flown will be inside a garage with the diffuser, so he could potentially go in for the B-bomb. Plant. Suspended down below. Could potentially try and apply pressure there. Steno outside of the construction door. Will get the kill onto Cracks, as he was able to hear the player. Flown going in for the plant. Impact grenades go flying out from the Valkyrie. Steno will cover that. Prisma will get the C4 a little bit too late. And that means that Steno will now be in a position to rotate back across in towards Garage to deny any attempted retake.
Oh, reliable.
The smoke canister goes out and chokes off the line of sight that Verns is holding. That means that Steno is going to have the full brunt of this attack on his end. But Verns is up to the task as the smoke dissipates and suspended from down below. He gets that final round securing kill. And LC move back into the lead. So far, they have not gone behind in this matchup. They have always stayed in front or level with their opponents. So TLR always have to play catch up. And as a mental game, that is really difficult. When you're always just trailing and clawing at your opponents, you're not only fighting your opponents, you're fighting yourselves.
Steno is just all reliable, isn't he? Like that was a masterclass in holding angles and being in the right place at the right time. And he kind of makes his own luck, this man, right? Like there's some very nice coordination with his team, obviously, to get that first frag. I'm assuming it wasn't just a random spray through the construction window.
I think he hard them
because there was a slit at the top of the window. Sound would have propagated through it,
Even
so he would have
better
heard
then.
him. Yeah,
Even better then.
that's
I mean,
incredible game sense.
So
you could tell it was the way that he was positioned there. You could tell he was listening in on his right side, and he wasn't moving as much to try and listen to the player pushing across. It's just as you mentioned there, Kenny. It's game sense. It's just knowledge. It's hearing someone in the other room, so you open the window and you shoot them.
it's great.
Like there's two doors, so it's logical if he's pushing from a master bedroom and he's in the middle of the room.
10 seconds left.
Yes, so he's going to be in the middle of the room. You can hear that. Like,
Yeah, it's also like
5 seconds left.
I don't know, like sonar, like turtles have. He knows that from the loudness of the audio, I'm going very technical here, but from the loudness of the audio, he knows how close to the window or how far away and how far across construction he is. So, because you saw he pre-fired exactly where the Valkyrie was. So Steno obviously been playing this game for a long time. He knows how the audio works. Audio can be inconsistent, but Steno's not been inconsistent so far. 14-6 on the man. He is carrying LionsCreed to a victory on map 3, but it's not all said and done yet. Last Resort have just been at their heels all throughout Clubhouse, and with a reattempt of CCTV, I think that switching onto the Maestro, giving them a bit more intel coupled with the Valkyrie, they're going to be able to play way more aggressive, and that's exactly what Kaiju has just exhibited there. A cam inside of Master, potentially inside of Construction, giving him the intel to be able to peek aggressive onto Suspended. And with these bullet holes, he made it a second, but Steno, he is on fire tonight. 15 kills, and who cares about bullet holes when Steno is just that good?
Lands a few shots onto Courage as well. The feet hole through the bottom of that counter. And now 4 versus 4 ensuing as Steno just opens himself a little bit of hard cover and a rotate outside. He wants to get back to perhaps that beloved highway position. Or maybe the breach we'll see in a moment. But he's also on drone duty, it seems, trying to make sure that they're not flanked from beneath. And Prisma does have a C4 in hand that could be rather important come the execute, but Flown taking out Oculus is also very big. The smoke loss now, before I believe even a single toxic gas canister was expended. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Hazard taking a lot of flack there from Steno, who once again is just in the right place at the right time, holding these angles, and he gets another Courage falling. Steno is just adding to his highlight reel right now with these solid, reliable plays. He can't quite best Prisma though. Diffuser is going down, and now with Hazard left for dead, Verns picks up the final 2 kills, and that is another LC round. They push themselves on to match point, series point in this best of 3.
I just have some major concerns about the positioning of TLR. The fact that some of these players are just caught way out of, well, safety or cover. The biggest thing about LionsCreed right now is they're not even doing anything miraculous. When we're looking at players like Steno, Vons, what are they doing? They're holding angles, they're holding lines of sight, they're getting the information and acting upon it. LionsCreed, they're doing well. But the biggest thing about this isn't the fact that they are... And I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. They are not doing, things miraculously. It's the fact that they are doing things very smart, very logical, and it makes sense. And it's working. TLR, they are just not playing to the same standard as we'd expect.
I think that... I'm going to half disagree with you there, Fraser. I think that the way LC are playing, they're forcing Last Resort into these uncomfortable positions. The amount of map control that they gain so quickly, that you see they have the CCTV breach open in the first minute of the round, and with a Thatcher and a Maverick ban, that's quick, and they take master control while they're executing the CCTV breach as well. And within half the round, LionsCreed have the entire site encompassed from all angles. There's a player on highway, there's a player on the CCTV rappel, there's a player... It's got 2 players in construction, they open the construction breach, and there is nowhere to sit as a defender, so you're forced into no man's land and into the waiting eyes of LionsCreed. So yeah, I think it's half bad positioning from LionsCreed, but half bad position from Last Resort, sorry, but a testament to LionsCreed are putting Last Resort in those uncomfortable places.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it as though, okay, so Steno was inside the construction, he was able to displace and dislodge the Valkyrie that was on top of Red. As soon as that Red control was lost, we saw them trying to regain that with the mute. Regardless, anyway, let's get back into this match here. Oculus able to get the first kill onto Flozen. Well, that's going to be the ace. Dead. Vons stacked up outside of Dart as well. Looks like this attempted rush hasn't quite worked out as planned. Oculus in a good position here with the smoke. Should be able to hold on to this for an extended period of time. He'd likely have Jaeger ADSs and that shield to protect him, as we see right now. So Oculus, well, Doc Ock can sit here for a nice wee time. Grenade will go flying in, won't connect onto the shield, which means Oculus still in a good position to deny this. Second Toxic Babe canister is thrown out. Deployable shield will be destroyed, as Oculus will be demolished there by Heavy. Nice refrag. Following up there. Garage control, or correction, Dart control now in favour of LionsCreed. That's good. Let's see where they want to try and apply pressure next.
1 minute 20 left on the clock, and that was a fair amount of time burnt up in dirt, because an execute onto Church and Arsenal is a little bit tricky to do very quickly. There's a lot of positions you need to scout out and work out the setup. X-Kyra's coming out to try and open up blue and apply pressure there. Very key place for any kind of hold, and we see Kaiju and Hazard both bunkered up in that position. TLR have evacuated that bomb side of Arsenal as Verns has already pushed his way into dirt, and we see a drop come through from the kitchen. And right now I'm not quite sure what's going on because we're looking at the dirt tunnel, but hopefully we get back to it. There we go, suspended underneath the hatch, and Verns holding the cover. Seno watching the main, suspended, happy to get this diffuser down, but Courage strikes, and Hazard and Kaiju as well follow up suit. Verns gets one, and now he has to get another few. He gets a second, watching the blue rotate, expecting maybe someone to come and take it, but he's got 22 seconds. He just has to find these frags. He doesn't know where the remaining two are. Hazard and Prism are backed up all the way to Moto and Church, and it's going to be very, very difficult for them to lose this right now. He has to take this diffuser. He has to try and stick it down. He's going to go for frag instead, and they're not giving him anything. He tries to stick it down by the dummies, but this is probably all too late. Is all they have to do now. TLR is swinging through the rotate, and that's exactly what doesn't happen. They get him behind Prisma and Hazard, following up each other, and we are on 6-5 scoreline. This round, this map is not over yet.
You may be asking the question, how did TLR deny that defuse plant? Well, I have a solution. I have an answer. The reinforcement in the long corridor next to where TLR placed the rotate. You may be questioning why that reinforcement is placed there. It's so that you cannot cover the church double door from the kitchen hatch. And Hazard, he denied the plant because he went through the rotate, which cannot be covered as easily from kitchen hatch. He dipped underneath the kitchen hatch and killed Suspended while he was planting. Just perfection. Perfect from TLR, noticing and playing around their setup. They baited LC into going for that plant when they knew they could deny it by pushing together as a unit. And that was it. That was round done. Verns had no chance in hell. He may have the kill record this season, but he wasn't able to add 4 more to it. Just the 2 to his name. Last resort, they're hanging on by a thread. We have to have all 12 rounds of regulation, and Fraser, potentially, we're going to go the distance like we did on Coastal.
It's like that Disney song, you know, I can't remember which one. It was something about going the distance. I can go the distance.
Hercules.
And Hercules, yes. It's like that. Alright, I can imagine, you know, Oculus, Doc Ock himself. I really want to see more from him. I know I keep harking on about him, but the fact is, he's currently going 3 and 10. This is not the Oculus that I know.
He was very good on Coastline, to be fair. He was really solid on the Maestro there.
I am not going to lie, I am concerned about that because I think that potentially, I think that their mentality is going a little bit. I would assume that something's kind of upset the balance that they normally have, because usually the TLR that we see is feeling a lot more confident, and you can see that in their play. Right now, the TLR that we're looking at, it feels like they're tired. That would be my guess. It looks like they're tired. It looks like they are frustrated. And I think that's affecting the way that they are able to play, and their reactions to it.
It's entirely possible. This is definitely the toughest task they've had thus far. LionsCreed are a very difficult team to beat, and let's not forget the last resort. They started in the 3rd stage. They've come all the way from the early realms of this long playoff bracket. That's what happens when you qualify via contenders and only get in 3rd or 4th place. It's a long route to this position, but they forced their way here. LC, they've had a chance to rest up. We mentioned it at the start. This is an endurance battle, and TLR, well, maybe they're tired because it's a long night, but maybe they're tired because it's a long playoff as well. Courage, taking down Heavy to get things started off, will give them some hope, especially with that 3rd one coming on. And okay, alright TLR. What?
Yeah.
We're in overtime. That's it. That was the round.
Okay.
TLR just wake up and the guns come alive in the matter of 5 seconds. We went from 10 players alive to round done and dusted. And yes, we...
I love that. I'm sorry.
And yes, we are going to need overtime.
I love that. I'm sorry.
we're Fraser tweeted a very funny tweet earlier. If you don't know, go and check him out.
Go check it out. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I would say it's a mirror image.
Look, I think that you tend to, well, especially with a lot of tier 4 leagues right now, there's a lot of production issues, right? And I think that's entirely understandable, and I think everyone's trying their best, but sometimes stuff happens. Regardless of that, we do still get to see Steno having 16 kills and 9 deaths, just like any other league. Just maybe takes 40 minutes to get there.
Doesn't matter where it is or how difficult it is to fight your way through the logistics of it, Steno will get 16 kills.
Honestly, Heavy, I don't think he's wrong. Anyway, we are looking off towards us. We're looking towards how they could potentially play it here. Krax is playing on the Wamai. I like this. I think it makes a lot of sense. Wamai is very powerful, being able to catch out a lot of projectiles. Would like to have seen them kind of pushed out a little bit more. So, could potentially catch out a wide range of projectiles from flashbangs, frag grenades, and the like. We already see one of the defenders, or sorry, one of the taskers. I believe that's going to be Habana outside of that CC wall for now. I'm interested to see how this will play out. LionsCreed, so far they have favoured going in for that split take, applying pressure not only through the main CCTV wall, but also secondly and through construction. I would imagine that that will continue. So they're going to want to try and open up that main CCTV wall to apply some pressure, but it will be Jacuzzi that'll be the main focus of their attack. If they can apply pressure, take construction, that will then allow them to filter in and take the bomb site directly. Kaiju will get the first kill onto Steno. That's going to open up the door of potential.
Yeah, especially with Steno, how hot he's been going down early is a big loss for LionsCreed. They fell flat on their face with their split push last time around, and Kaiju alleviating that pressure on highway means he's going to have a bit more flexibility in working around this position in master. But a rotate from Flowen round, opening up the master window, is going to scare Kaiju into cowering back into the safe tuck corner. LionsCreed, they have the hot tub breach open. They're now going to look to work opening up bathroom. A frag grenade from Vern's potentially going to disperse that player from inside a bathroom. Typically an SAS operator playing close up with a shotgun. And if there is a mute jammer present on the bathroom wall, it will be removed by that frag grenade. We hear the Selma's rain out on the bathroom wall, but TLR, they don't care. Heavy's gone. Kurax on that top red stairs means, well, he gets rid of that player pushing through CCTV.
55 seconds left. LC's attack lost its fangs, especially in the name of Steno, and now Vern's the big fragger of the year, basically, or the season for them, needing to do some more of the heavy lifting. Kaiju aware of the presence inside of bathroom, and someone's pushed around to Jim as well. Oculus does catch the legs of him and will finish off Flown, and now it's all down to the last two attackers. Vern's fell inside a bathroom, and Prisma will swing on suspended. That's it. The last resort take the first round of this OT, succeeding with a Jim defense, that off-site, just throwing LC aside.
Yeah, I do believe we are going to be getting a rehost. The player did ask for it, but nope, they're just going to pause for now. We're just pausing just so he can get back into the lobby. We are just going to wait for this to crack on, and I guess at this point we are allowed to just sit here and wait. We may go back to our beautiful wee faces, I'm not quite sure. Honestly, I have no idea.
It's a little bit confusing when you got players saying one thing and then the other, right? I do feel for our observer right now. He's being kind of hounded with a couple of different options from people in the same team. So we'll let them sort that out while we come back to our faces for a bit. And we talked about the fact that TLR right now are... sorry, I won't do that thing. TLR, I cannot be asked with that bit anymore. It was
honestly,
tenuous. It was tenuous to begin with. TLR are ahead in overtime after a Jim defense.
Yeah.
What's really intriguing me is that just there, we also saw LC pick Jim. Whether they're going to stick with that or not, I do not know. But this is a good move. This is an interesting move to try and keep the attackers on their toes, and it's basically, I don't know, Kenny, you're looking a little bit kind of unconvinced by that
Perplexed
yourself.
is the right word. In regulation, LC defended Jim once and they lost it. It was quite a convincing loss. Something that I noted, they did not have a mute jammer on the bathroom wall, so that was opened up for free by the ace. They didn't have to use any kind of utility to remove the mute jammer on the bathroom breach. The difference between how TLR defended bathroom and how LC defended bathroom is that LC double reinforced bathroom off. Typically you'll see a rotate from bathroom into short, like from the hot tub breach. But with the bans, Thatcher and Maverick being banned, you can safely reinforce off bathroom and just make it a fortress, because how else are you going to get that mute jammer off? You can go below. Not many people know that the floor inside a bathroom is actually destructible. You can destroy a mute jammer from below, or a mirror window from below in bar, and there's potential of that. But not many teams have the resources to be able to drone out strip club, drone out bar. There's so many flanks you need to worry about in bar. So LC don't stick Jim. I'm happy to see that. They go to CCTV, but just remember way back to the first half. This Montaigne was a nightmare for LC. They could not keep hold of garage. They could not keep hold of rafters. And LC are starting the round with 4 players.
Yes, I did see briefly in the chat, I think one of the players had to go to bed because it was past their bedtime, I would assume. I don't know. Have you ever seen Blackadder?
I've seen clips.
I've seen a few episodes.
So do you remember the one with, it was one of the World War I ones, right? Where they're having a meeting, right, with General Melchett. And they're discussing a grand strategy to defeat the Germans. And then Blackadder's like, it wouldn't happen to be the one where we walk across the field into the guns of the Germans and we all get butchered in 5 minutes. And General Melchett goes, well, that's exactly it. Because he will never expect us to do the thing that we've done 17 times already when we'll do it for the 18th time. That is exactly what we are going to see from LionsCreed. Same shit, different day.
Well, wow. And Steno doesn't care if it's a 4v5. He'll level the man count straight away. 5 seconds into action phase and a spawn kill from Steno. It's on to the Hibana. That's huge. That's one of only 2 hard breaches that TLR have to their disposal. They're not going to be able to open up bottom garage. If they want to open up bottom garage, they're going to have to sacrifice one of those Selma charges that Kaiju is going for now. He opens up the left panel, which means that the right panel will stay closed. The potential to play in Harry Potter, as we saw Hebi do previously. But unfortunately, Hebi not in the server anymore.
Sadly, Heavy. And Oculus on this key position right now, repelling on that off that breach, trying to catch Suspended out as Courage is applying that pressure. Kaiju as well, looking at this long angle. Suspended knows the sort of area of movement he's allowed to stay alive in this spot, and it's really just a matter of time. Suspended is just so patient. He knows that his job here is to survive for as long as possible. He'll be lucky if he gets a kill out of it. But Steno comes in huge with the support and gets a triple on the round to take out the 2 players pressuring Suspended. And Suspended finally falls as he oversteps the mark, and Hazard from Garage Door will take him out. But Steno may have just bought his team another round and a bit of time to try and turn this around, as they're at the disadvantage in this overtime. Courage has 2 smoke canisters in hand. Hazard still has a breaching round. And that's about it in terms of execute utility. It's going to be very difficult for them to chomp their way through this defensive setup with the 3 remaining players on LC.
Yeah, now we are going to be looking over towards the remaining 50 seconds of this round. Cracks with Courage. We're still not quite sure which one it is. As very low HP, Von step below the impact grenades in the pocket can be used to open up the floor, and that's exactly what he will do. Von's likely going to throw a second one up there. We'll destroy the we'll destroy that deployable shield. That's rather unfortunate there. Steno will be able to cover the rotate out. Hazard will fall to Von's there, leaving it all up to Courage. So 2 players rotate downstairs. Leave them flowing. Last player now on the bomb site proper. Last touch of the canister will be thrown out, and well, that's going to be enough to take him down. The gas will be enough. Flown able to win that one out there. LionsCreed able to equalise it up yet again.
Huge for the mental right there. Being 4v5 at the start and still winning that round out on the defense. They've got to be really expecting to win this one. And yet again, the last resort, CS2, a third map full OT. They managed to do it against Paragon to see their way into the final stage. Can they do it again against the mighty LionsCreed to get to the grand final? Or will LionsCreed, in a 4v5, they cannot return to a full 5v5 because they've already used their pause, will they be able to see themselves through or not?
So many questions that we'll find the answer to in just sub 3.5 minutes. Steno, he showed up big. Long night. He showed up big for his team there. 3 kills and using the shield on radio that was currently in progress of being cleared by the frag grenade on the sledge. But Oculus, I think it was Oculus on the sledge, he was in the middle of the platform, just open to a swing, and Steno used the slits in the shield. Obviously the revamped shield that we had in year 4 still in effect, and he just peeked off of it. He got that first kill onto the sledge and then the second onto the ace. And Last Resort just getting a bit ahead of themselves. They're exposing themselves to angles in technically a 4 versus 5 for no reason. You can clear that shield from rappel. You can chuck a frag grenade. You can get your Ash to clear it. Obviously Ash, it has an infinite range. There's no drop off. Frag grenades have that drop off. So LionsCreed buy themselves another round, as Jerry said, and it's 7-7 OT. LionsCreed, though, they need to attack onto basement.
So fun fact, did you know that you can fire an Ash Reaching Ground through a bullet hole?
No.
The projectile, yeah, the projectile has no actual size,
Wow.
like no like physical size, so you can, and the same thing with Capital asphyxiant bolts. You just make a bullet hole through like a barricade or through a wall, and then you can fire it straight through. You used to actually do it a lot for a border, to clear out armory wall.
It's strange because like air jabs do get stuck even in punch holes.
Yes.
So odd that they don't have that property. I knew it about the firebolts. I did not know it about Ash, and she's been in the game
Ash,
since.
yeah, Ash would breach.
So that is bizarre that I've never come across that. That's cool.
I would presume that there's probably a reason for it. Like maybe it's just because of when they were made at the time. That was the easiest thing to do. I don't know. I don't know about lifelines. I don't know about any other projectiles. I only know about Capitao and Ash.
Seems like a Rogue 9 video waiting to be made. Or maybe it has already been made.
Probably. Anyway, Steno will get the kill onto Kaiju. It's going to open things up yet again in favour of LionsCreed. I don't quite know how many times they've had the opening kill, but my wager would be many.
He's 20 and 10.
Yeah. It's a lot. Looking at my notes right now. It says a lot.
I'm just referring to my number graph. 20 is big number. Can confirm.
Excellent as always.
I'm here to provide the detailed analysis, but Kenny, why don't you take us through what's going on right here?
LC taking their time. They've leveled up the man count. They've now cleared the smoke out of dirt, but they don't get the kill this time. That's important. But they do get the kill now as Flowin creeps up dirt and gets those 3 toxic canisters off the board. LC in a man deficit at the start of the round now find themselves in a man advantage. Kitchen hatch drop not looking prospectful as it's not even open. The Hibana being down dirt and Steno's creeping down blue. He could make this work. Flowin also drops out the game, and it's all up to Steno. Can he and the rest of his team versus suspended pull out the 3 versus 3 victory? Steno, he fires a couple of shots and nets the kill onto Courage. That's a huge frag. And Flowin with the diffuser inside of dirt tunnel needs to get that bomb down with 5 seconds left. A trade from Steno into a 1 versus 1. Hazard's on 1 HP. Suspended has the R4C in hand, and he's gonna get this bomb down if Hazard's not quick enough. He will stick the bomb. Down goes the bomb from Suspended, and he comes off and hits the shot. A 4 versus 5 for LionsCreed books their ticket into the grand final on Sunday.
God, that's violent.
Suspended! That was inch perfect. Absolutely inch perfect from the Ash. And look at this victory screen with 3 people standing on it. I thought it was going to be a tragic end to the day for LC, as they were just dropping like flies from the server, but oh my word, so tight at the end. Fraser, what did you make of that incredible best of 3?
That's alright. No, being entirely serious here, all of these players going absolutely ballistic to make sure that this entire best of 3 series went all the way down to the wire. I don't know how many overtimes we had. Was it 2 or was it 3? It was 2 of them.
2, yeah.
2
full
overtimes.
OTs.
Yeah. And that, like, 30 plus rounds in 2 games. Fair play to both of these 2 teams, specifically LionsCreed. Fair play to them for making that happen, especially at the end, despite being at a man count deficit. You know, we know how pivotal that Heavy is. You know, like, at the end of the day, yeah, they were able to play, they were able to win that one out. Fair enough. Fair play. I think this is why you come to expect that both these 2 teams will try their best. There's only going to be one winner. No.
You have to accredit, as much as Siege is a team game, you have to accredit the notorious Steno bringing LionsCreed into the grand final. Just massive overtime rounds from that man on the Jaeger and Zafir, ending up on 22 frags. And I think that gunfight inside of Blue between the Valkyrie and Steno winning that out was round changing. If Steno lost that gunfight, Flowen then couldn't push through dirt because he had a crossfire between Blue and back Arsenal. Just insane from the man we speak about so often. You can have your opinions about Steno in and out the game, but in the game, the man is a monster.
Yeah, 100%. Like, time after time, we're just seeing them get shit done. And honestly, at the end of the day, what more do you want? As a player, what more do you want than being able to sit down at the time and say, yeah, let's just do our best. Either it's going to be good enough or it's not. With LionsCreed, clearly, as we've seen here, it was good enough. Fair play to them. They are now going to be moving on to Sunday. I believe we have the grand final. And then on Saturday, we also have the losers bracket, which is where TLR are going to be participating. The winner of Saturday, I believe, will then go to Sunday to the grand final. I'm sure Jerry or
quick
Kenny
correction.
can...
Unfortunately, it's single elim, so that is TLR out. They do play on Saturday, but it's a 3rd place playoff, so playing for prize money alone. And yeah, LC have booked their spot in the grand final. We're going to find out very soon who's going to be joining them. It'll be one of either Skittle.jpg, Kenny's old team, or it will be Jaeger's Academy. So, Kenny, seeing as I seem to be jumping all over the place and slightly delayed, why don't you take us out? Or actually, let me throw over to Fraser first of all, because this is his first time on ECS, and I want him to have the chance to say what he wants, swear a couple more times, and then we'll let Kenny take us out.
I'll be honest, I didn't even know that ECS existed up until a couple of days ago. Besides the couple of raids that I got there, so you know I had a lot of fun with that. I'll be honest, it was just fun to be able to cast a couple of players on a couple of teams that I don't normally get the opportunity to. I think LionsCreed, you know, for better or worse, I know they like a lot of banter, they like going out there. Fair fucking play. They prove up that they are, you know, they're a decent team. They show that they are capable of, you know, living up to the hype that they bring out. I think it was fun to watch, and it was exciting to be able to cast some of the players again. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun every time. TLR, on the other hand, well, unfortunately, they weren't quite showing up today, and it's a shame because I know some of their players, and I know that they are capable of really outperforming and you know, proving that they are one of the better teams up there in Tier 4 right now. So, you know, it was a pleasure to sit down with you guys. Thank you so much for sharing it with me and for kind of letting me come on super short notice. I knew absolutely fucking nothing about these players or these teams. Absolutely nothing about the league. Thank you so much for carrying me, guys. It was a pleasure. Kenny, do you have any words?
Yeah, well, I'll start off by thanking all you at home. Thank you for tuning in to ECS so far during the league season and now the playoffs. we've been granted with some incredible matches all throughout the playoffs, from the first match that was streamed to this match, which we are at present. Around 15 on the decider map to separate LionsCreed and TLR. Unfortunate circumstances for LionsCreed in a 4 versus 5 and a 3 versus 5 at the end of that last round, but they came out on top, and TLR just couldn't hold their nerve in that man advantage. It was LionsCreed that sent themselves up into that grand final where they rightfully want to be on Sunday. On Friday, we will see the second semi-final between Skittle.jpg and Jaeger's Academy. Thank you, Jerry and Fraser. For the first time, Fraser, it's been a pleasure for having you beside me. And Grissom and Noah from behind the scenes. We've had a fiery day back behind in production. We've had a fiery day on screen in the server. Congratulations to LionsCreed, and we will see you on Friday.